I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gon' live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad, doing no cap. Only God wants you, better go live it up. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Baby, I'm bad, yeah. Baby, I'm bad.
I just wanna stay bad, stay mad. Shit on my shoulder cause they treat me like an outcast. I ain't gonna take that, stay back. I'll be swinging hard till the hits come in all caps. I ain't gonna lay back, pray that someone's gonna help me. Ain't nobody like that. I ain't gonna wait, that's all fact. Give me one shot and I'll never get the throne back. I'm sick of being cautious, I'ma go cause some pain, can't stop this. I'ma steal everybody's lane, call it shoplift. Sick of hearing everyone complain when they thoughtless. Taste the pain, it's like candy canes. It makes me go change into a better frame, into a better name. Society's insane, we all live for fame, yeah. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gon' live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad, do it no cap. Only God wants you, better go live it up. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Baby, I'm bad, baby, I'm bad. I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gon' live it up. Baby, I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad, do it no cap. Only God wants you, better go live it up. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Baby, I'm bad, baby, I'm bad. I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, I'll live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad, do it no cap. Only God wants you, better go live it up. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Baby, I'm bad, baby, I'm bad. I don't really know what comes next. I'm just doing my best, even though I'm so stressed out. Everything just feels like a test that I fail, so depressed when I can't seem to get out. But something deep inside won't let me quit. I swear that I'm inspired by all this shit. Tell me that I can't and I won't. That's what guides me the most. Fuck your lies, I'll do what I want. By thirst, I'm inspired by worth. I desire your worst, so you can just hide while I work. I ain't tired, you first. I'll write a second, third verse about the lies you go disperse. You never did shit, I know it hurts. Something deep inside won't let me quit. I swear that I'm inspired by all this shit. Tell me that I can't and I won't. That's what guides me the most. Fuck your lies, I'll do what I want.
Hard sports all plays. Hard sports all plays. Hard Sports All Plays. 365, we're making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. Sport all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Hard Sports All Plays.
Welcome to the College Breakdown Show, leading all the way up to college football at noon today. We got a 3-hour show. We got about 55 total games today. We're going to talk about 20 of them on this show here. We're leading all the way up to kickoff. We're back. Dre's on location right now. He'll probably join in the middle of the show, so stay tuned there. If you can look right here, you can watch the ASAP All Sports All Plays on College Breakdown Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Every Saturday, live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Roku TV, and Tiki Live at the All Sports. Just looking for the All Sports All Plays Network. So we're coming here. So we have some breaking news here, some breaking news sharing this week. The college playoffs is now going to extend to 12 teams. They're going to try to implement a 12-team playoff in 2006, but they're going to be talking here later on. In Irving, Texas, 10 FBS and Notre Dame athletic director are going to get together and see if they can implement it in the 2024 season. Is the earliest they can implement it, but it will be implemented no later than 2026. That's big news here. So they can extend the playoffs here, but the question is, when they extend the playoffs, how many SEC teams will be in that playoffs? So that's going to be a big question here. Can other conferences knock some of these SEC teams out of their thing? Because they could possibly end up having 6 or 7 teams out of this 12 teams getting in there. Or are they going to set up rules where you have to have your conference champion will automatically get a bid into these playoffs? That's going to be a good question. And then they also trying to talk about if the number one team and all that will get to play their games on campus, or they can take it to a dome if it's inclement weather. So that's going to be the question coming up here in the next few weeks and months here on this 12 playoff team. Will they get it implemented in 2024, or will it go all the way down to 2026? Let's see here. I got a little bit of notes on it. The 11 presidents and chancellors approved the original 12-team model, which was first made public last summer, including the 6 highest ranked conferences champions and 6 at-large teams, the board announced. This is a quote from Mississippi president. There are still quite a few issues that have to be resolved. Some are very obvious logistic issues that have to be resolved, but our hope is that we can get the commissioners to move on this quickly and as possible to do so, says Mississippi State President Mark Keenum, chair of the College Football Playoffs Board of Managers. We also have asked our commissioners to manage the committee to explore the possibility of getting the 12-team playoffs before the 2026 season, either in 2024 or 2025. That's all right. And then what I just mentioned to you too, the 10 FBS commissioners and Notre Dame athletic director Jack Swarbrick will meet next Thursday in Irving, Texas, to begin discussion on implementing the format early in 2024. That's all we have right now. Let's see here. The four highest ranked conference champions will be seeded 1 through 4. So you got to taking your top highest ranked conference champions, and they'll be seeded 1 through 4. And then teams with seeded 5 through 12 will play each other in the first round on either the second or third weekend of December. The qualified and semifinals will be played in a bowl game on a rotating basis, and the championship game will be at a neutral site as under the current 14 format. So they're going to keep the 14 format. They're going to go to a 12-man playoffs. Let me hear some of your people. If you're watching, you can go ahead and comment. We'll bring your comments up here, and we want to go ahead and hear out your comments about this new upgrade. Is this what we're looking for here? Is the Big 12 team, Big 12 playoff teams? Are we going to be satisfied with the 12 playoff teams? Because We weren't satisfied with the 4. We were satisfied at first with the 4. Now we're not satisfied with the 4. We wanted to move it to 8. Now they're going to go all the way to 12. So now the question is, are we going to be really satisfied with a 12-team playoffs? Are we going to want more? You know, that's going to be the question here. Are we just going to figure out and sit here and watch this 12-team playoffs and see exactly if we can run this table on this 12-team playoff and we get a great amount of consistency, not having so many SEC teams already, Power 5 teams, and have some of these smaller schools come up and participate. I mean, that makes it a little bit interesting in the playoff situation, but this is big, huge news here. Like I said, they meet next Thursday at Irving, Texas. The 10 FBS commissioners and Notre Dame athletic director Jack Swinburne will meet next Thursday to begin discussion on the implementation format as early as 2024. So this could be implemented as no earlier than 2024, no later than 2026. So we would definitely have a 12-man team by 2026. So that's going to be where we are looking here and talking about the barometer of this new college basketball and stuff. So let's go ahead and move on. So I think that was the breaking news that was big. The Big Ten commissioner said in a statement that the CFP expansion is college football playoffs expansion is exactly for college football and exactly for the Big Ten conference. He added that while working remains, we are proud of what has been accomplished. We look forward in continuing our collaboration with our collegians and to analyze the 12-team formats. When asked specifically about those 3 conferences now voting in favor of the expansion, Keenum said it was a matter of those leagues and everyone else doing their due diligence and talking with each member. They spend the time, they put the efforts in to get this point, Keenum said, and also I think it has just been cumulative effort by all of these individuals to get to the point where they feel, and not just particularly conferences, but all of the conferences that are on board went through the same process. I mean, that's some good news there. So we'll see how this transforms here, and we'll keep talking about it as we get more news into the thing. So let me go ahead and like you said, you can see that we're all on this here. You can see the banner below. It tells you what our banner thing is. Dre's not here right now, but we did do our first contest last week. Dre went 5 wins, 6 losses. I went 7 wins, 4 losses, and 11 games that we predicted last week. And I think so. You can go ahead and ASAP. This is the All Space, All Place College Breakdown, top 25. Number 1. We go ahead and just let that stroll through. So we're gonna go ahead and open up a little bit here. So my day went, very well this week. We had some time in Uberland. I drive for Uber, so we had some good times there yesterday. So I just want to point out to my Jag Nation people, if you didn't see the show, we didn't do it. I had some personal issues I needed to take care of yesterday, so that wasn't played. We will be back on that on Sunday. Also, NFL season has been coming around the corner here. We're going to, my touchdown crew is back. It's been up all season long, 365 days around the clock here on the All Sports, All Place Network. If you want to tune in and watch the pregame show, that comes on at 10 a.m. on Sunday. 10 a.m. on Sunday. We got about 2 weeks before the regular season starts, so we're about a week away there. So if you want to get all your pregame show on there, you can go to the Touchdown Crew on Sunday, always at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. on Sundays on the All Sports, All Place Network. We had today the schedule. We're going to run down some schedule here today at 2 p.m. is Kingdom, the Chiefs, all about the Kansas City Chiefs show that will be on at 2 o'clock today, and also at 8 o'clock it'll be unscripted at 8 o'clock on the All Sports All Place Network. So let's continue right on here. Let's get into our first segment, and that will be the Texas A&M at Sam Houston versus Sam Houston today. The team, Texas A&M versus Sam Houston, you can watch this at 12 p.m. at Kyle Field, College Station in Texas. The game is on the SEC Network. Texas A&M is, this is the first game of the season, Sam Houston's first game of the season. This game is also going to be, I think it also going to be on ESPN Plus, but right now there's the SEC Network with this game at noon o'clock if you want to watch this game. What does Sam Houston have to do? This is a high-powered Sam Houston team that went 11-1 last year with a great offense and averaged about 41 points per game of the SEC, of the football championship series. Best defense, especially against the run, and will be with enough good players returning for the fitness system. Texas A&M has the talent, but can they all overcome together right away? And that's the thing about early football season here. Teams are playing their first game, so there's going to be a lot of it could be a lot of sloppiness, could be a lot of penalties, could be a lot of miscues by the power team. Sometimes the teams are, Sam Houston could be up for this game. And you're talking about why they could be up for this game is because they're playing a ranked team. Any team with them little rankings on by their name and stuff like that. So that's a lot of issues that Sam Houston could come in with some little bit of momentum here. Be riled up, take the first shot. If they can stay in this game through the first quarter, second quarter, and going into halftime, they got some beliefs that they can win this ball game. But Texas A&M is more talented, more powerful. Can they take over control of this game coming out of that first and second quarter, go up big at halftime, and could put some doubt into Sam Houston's ability? So this is going to be a good barometer set to see how Texas A&M can fold, what they need to improve on going into the later games in the season. So I think Texas A&M has ability to put this team away quickly, and Jimbo Fisher needs to jump on that quick. He needs to have this team riled up, and don't let this team linger around. You don't want to get a team, confidence going into halftime. Hey, this game is close. We're going to be in this game all game, and then they can start believing coming out of halftime and giving some A&M some problems. So this could be a good football game, or it could be a bad game. But this Texas A&M got to do to win. Texas A&M secondary might be one of their early strength, at least when it comes to experience combined with an infusion of talent. The Texas A&M, the Aggies defense doesn't have a slew of national known stars yet, but that's coming with the latest recruiting class. But it should be able to generate enough third down stops to keep Sam Houston's offense from getting into a groove. And that's the key right there is the Aggies defense. Can the Aggies defense keep this team where they need to be right here? Can they keep the team in the ram of keeping them close, keeping them, keeping this high? Don't want to get Sam Houston into a groove. And that's the key right there, into a groove. What we're talking about into a groove is getting their offense started out quickly, short passes, get the confidence in the quarterback, getting the running going quick. You don't want that offense to start picking up their momentum as they get in first downs. You want to stop them quickly, and you want to stop them often, and you want to get them off the field. And that's something you don't want to do. If Sam Houston gets their offense in a groove, that could be a little bit overcoming for Texas A&M. That could put some little bit of doubt in the defense if they can't stop them, and then they'll be in this game all the way through. So that's something that we want to talk about. We don't want to actually get into the groove there. So Texas A&M there. What can we happen here? The Aggies can't get just off the bus and think it can run and light up a scrimmage against the Sam Houston team. It will be a Whitbit bite of fight or for a while. The Bearcats will keep the offense going all well enough, and the defense up front will hold up fine just against the Aggies' running game to keep this engine. However, the new starting quarterback, Haynes King, and the A&M passing game will keep the chains moving in the second half as the team finally starts pulling away. That's what you don't want. You don't want that to. Some people are saying that in these days that Sam Houston can keep it close all the way to halftime. You don't want to keep it close all the way to halftime. You don't want Sam Houston to think that they can come in this ball game and hang with the Aggies. You don't want to see that. You want to see if Texas A&M can put a stronghold coming out of that second quarter. First quarter could be tight. that could be something because it could be jitters, could be a lot of things going into this, football season. That is the first game. Could be a lot of penalties. But in the second half, you want to see that offense kind of take over this ball game. You want to see the defense time to take over this ball game. If Sam Houston keep this game close going into halftime, coming out in that third, fourth quarter, it's always going to be interesting. It's always going to be a tight, interesting barometer of this. So we want to see what they can do on the road. We want to see what Sam Houston can do in Kyle Field. Kyle Field is a monster area to play in. They got the 12th man. They call the fans the 12th man. And, I mean, they're loud. This is a noxious stadium. This is going to be a test for Sam Houston coming in here. And FC Football Championship Series division is going to be, something that is going to be, if you want to pull an upset, you got to pull that mark out. You got to be on your A game. You can't make mistakes. If you make mistakes in Texas A&M was going to kill you. It's going to beat you down the field. It's going to take over this ball game. And that's what Sam Houston don't want to do. Some of the people are predicting the score to be Texas A&M 38, Sam Houston 13. The line is 30.5. Over and under is 48. So that's the line. If you are betting people there, you can put your bets in for this game if you want to. If you want to take the point spread, you can. It's 30.5 and over and under is 48. So you can do the over and under there too. So, or you can just do a straight up pick for that game. So that game is a little bit of thing here. Let's talk a little bit here. I want to get that little bit of that adjusted into your thing here. But I'm going to go ahead and pull up the Thursday night scores. Nothing really too bad in that Thursday night. Pitt 38-31. That West Virginia Pitt game was great. Pretty much everybody stood. That St. Francis out of Pennsylvania against Akron was great. And the rest of the stuff you can see there was a blowout as the Thursday night football games. Continue to stroll down at the bottom here. We'll talk about Friday night's game here momentarily. So let's go to. I have a kind of a strategy of a game plan that I'm doing here. So Trey's not here with me to do the pick. If he does come in, I'll let him pick his teams and stuff like that. So. Stay with us right now, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say Texas A&M is going to win this game here. It's going to win it probably big and handily, so that's going to be a good start for Texas A&M going 1-0. I think the final score could be, more than take a 45-7, 45-10 at the most. I don't see Sam Houston staying with them after the first quarter. They'll probably be tight. Coming in after the second quarter, going in halftime, the game will probably be put away by then. So, my next game we're going to talk about will be the Colorado State and number 8, Michigan. I think that's right, number 8. Yep, number 8, Michigan. So, Jim Harbaugh coming off a good season last year, took his team to the playoffs, all the way up to that championship game. Can he repeat as the Big Ten champion? Can Michigan repeat as a Big Ten champion? That's going to be the question most people want to know here in football land. Can they be what we're talking about here? Can they go ahead and take the barometer here and stuff like that? 97.6% on the ESPN matchup barometer. They are picking no chance for Colorado State University to have been in this game at 2.4% to 97.6%. The spread is 30. The underdog, Colorado State coming in as the underdog at 30.5. The money line's plus 1,800 to negative 7,000. So if you want to do the money line, the over and under 60.5 in this ball game. So that's a little bit of thing. They're playing in Ann Arbor, Michigan. This game's at 12 p.m. ABC is covering this game. The weather condition is about 84 degrees in Michigan. So just over 100,000 people going to be in here. Can Jim Harbaugh do what he needs to do to take on this ball game? That's going to be the question for the Michigan. Is Michigan as they lost Hutchinson on the defensive side. The quarterback you still got a platooning quarterback system, I think, there. I think both of the quarterbacks for Michigan does complement each other to some point. They do different things. They can also throw the ball, so there's got a little bit of familiar and a little bit of things there that you want to see in that ball game. So that's gonna be the question. Can Michigan and Colorado State can keep Michigan down? I don't know if they got the talent. They don't have the talent to do it. I don't know if they have a system that can do it either. If Michigan gets up on you, Michigan can run the ball, can throw the ball. They can do different things, but the defense is going to be the barometer for this Michigan team. Can Michigan, hang that defense like they did last year? Can they really see what they can do here in this thing? So I'm bringing up some notes here. I have my notes here. I'll go ahead and bring my notes and we'll get this talking about here. Game time is at 12 Eastern time, like I said, at Michigan Stadium, Ann Arbor, Michigan. Game can be on ABC. What kind of way does Colorado State if they have a chance? How fast can Colorado offense get up into the spread? Up to speed. It may have a huge push in this offense of getting head coach Jay Norvell from Colorado State, along with every decent transfer it could possibly grab. Now the O will wing it all the way around the yards, and the defense that is gotten into the backfield on a regular basis was among the best in the country in the tackles for loss. And will the dangers again, and there might be just the right mix of things happening to throw Michigan a curveball at first. So, a lot of teams will like to run these trickery plays. Michigan got to be ready for all kinds of trick plays. Got to be ready for the pump pass. You got ready fake punch. You got ready for reverse. You got to be ready for that. That's a lot of stuff that these small schools come in here and they want to go and play against these top ranked teams here. If you want to have a pressure for this team, if you want to have a good feel for this team, this is the way you got to really talk about this is, can the trick plays come involved in this game and throw Michigan a little bit of a curveball early? If they do one or two, they probably have one or two trick plays that they have set up for this game. If they at the right time, they call it the right time, could be a big momentum change. That's got to be an issue that Michigan's got to really look for here and really think about what they need to do here and stuff. So, that's got to be a good question. So we got to see what Michigan can do and Colorado State can do on the defensive side and what Michigan's got to do on their defensive side. The way Michigan can really take control of this game is Colorado State should be better in a hurry and it should be dangerous, but it also could have used a few games against a paycheck State to get all the new parts together. Everyone is trying to figure it out, and everyone has players in key roles in the transfer portal era. But Colorado State has around 12 transfer starters and several new players. So that could be a little bit changing here. The transfer portal is a big tool for some of these small schools, going out getting these players and stuff like that coming in their school. And so now they got different key personnels and different formations and different players on offense. So you really don't have any tape from last year to see any of these players play. So you have to, if you figure out what schools they went to, you have to look at their game film. But then there's different personnel on that team that makes them look good on that team, could not make them look good on this team, or could fit this system better than what they had there before. So that's a lot of issues, a lot of places that you got to really look at. Can Colorado State throw that curveball in the Michigan defense? That's going to be the big issue here. The biggest issue will be on the line. Michigan might not have lost some stars off the defensive front, but the offensive line has potential to be special. The other side is more than okay. Here's where the transfer portal is a problem. The offensive line, in theory, takes the longest to gel, and Colorado State is starting over. Combine that with the freshman quarterback in Clay Milton, and the Wolverines defense should feast So they're talking about it. Talking about the new, the offensive line does have to take a while to gel in college football. May take them they got to get up to speed quick. Michigan defense, I don't care if you lost Hutchinson and you lost some of the defensive line. Michigan can replace them. They got talent on the team. They're a Big Ten team, so you got to refuel. You got to really think about re-talented. So that's a lot of things that you got to really justify here for Michigan. Can Michigan's defense put the pressure on them? That's going to be the key. Michigan's defense has got to be putting pressure like they did last year. They got to be Sac City. They got to be Michigan Sac City. They got to be the Wolverines. They got to be the Wolverine Sac City. They got to throw some sacks in there. They got to be a lot of issues, a lot of things that they got to take care of on that defensive side. And if the defense can go in there and throw a quick punch right here, and you really punch this team really out by the second quarter, I don't think Michigan has any problem here with Colorado State. Colorado State will have its momentum, but Michigan will keep the gameplay playing easy, pound. So Michigan get that running game going, boom, next thing you know, you got that play action passing game going. So, I mean, Michigan is a little bit of a NFL-style type court team. You run first, pass second. And if you get that running game going, you get the two-headed monster, you get the running quarterback going, you get the passing quarterback going, you get everything going on the offensive side, and that defense will take care of itself on Michigan in this ball game. So, the Rams defense will be able to make plays in the backfield, but it's going against a Michigan line that's even with a few new guys that should just be just strong as the one that led to the nation's and fewest tackles for loss allowed. It might not always be explosive, but the Wolverines will get out into a good start and stumble a bit and then own the clock the rest of the way. So that's a little bit of a set. Like I said, they're predicting the game to be Michigan 45, Colorado State 13. I think it's going to be a little bit more than that. I think it could be Michigan 55, Colorado probably won't score probably at 3 or 7 at the most. In my opinion, that's my opinion. You can take it, in my opinion, you can take it at grain of salt and stuff like that. But I got Michigan winning this ball game. So like I said, Dre's right now, he's not here. He should be probably back next week. If he does pop in here, I'll let him go ahead and go through some of the 2 games I already picked and I didn't pick. But right now, he's not here, so he's on assignment. So, all righty. Our next game will be the North Carolina State Wolfpack and ECU. This is one of the biggest games in North Carolina today. Can NC State? This is the start of NC State, and this is the start of what their fans are saying. Well, some of the media are saying this is the Wolfpack Pride is their 24. I think that 24/7 insiders is called a Wolfpack Pride. I have seen some articles with them coming out saying that this is the best team North Carolina State has had in recent years. So this is the run that the Pack wants here. This is the run that North Carolina State is on. Can they do what they need to do here? Can they? I mean, that team has been on this thing called All Access on the ACC network, showing the team and stuff like that. So this is going to be the telltale of it's called All Access on the ACC network. Let's go get into this game right now. Number 13, North Carolina State at ECU. This is Saturday at high noon in the state of North Carolina, in Greenville, North Carolina, the home of the ECU Pirates. The Big Green Hill. Can the Pirates make it up that Green Hill? If the Pirates win, they have a celebration called on the Green Hill at ECU. ECU is known as a party school. So ECU has never lost. This is their tailgate. They always call their first game at home the tailgate game. They have never lost a tailgate game at ECU. So this is the game that everybody was waiting for right here. This is the start of the new North Carolina State Wolfpack. The run for the Pack. That's the good question. Can they make a run to get into their first ACC championship game? They have never played in the ACC championship game since the ACC championship game has performed. So they play in the Atlantic Division. The Atlantic Division is always going to be the tough division in the ACC. And they got Clemson, Florida State. They got North Carolina State. They got Wake Forest. They got Louisville. They got Syracuse. And so that's gonna be the telltale here. Can North Carolina State come out and be gelled right at the beginning? This is a hated rivalry between the two. They don't like each other. This goes all the way back into the 80s. I mean, ECU beat North Carolina. That one upset at North Carolina State took this rim to the wreck, and ECU has come out and they have beaten North Carolina. They have beaten NC State. So this is a hater rivalry. Look at the series here. North Carolina State leads the series 18-13. Yeah, 18-13. They got a winning record against them, but they had 13 losses also. What at stake here is North Carolina's opening the season with a lofty expectation of winning the Atlantic Coast Conference Championship and reaching double-digit wins for only the second time in program history. But the Wolfpack will face a tricky test with a visiting to the in-state Pirates of ECU, East Carolina University, and the American Athletic Conference program located about 90 miles east of Raleigh in Greenville, North Carolina. North Carolina State is just 1-4 in the games there. Reiterate, North Carolina State is 1-4 at ECU in Greenville, North Carolina. 1-4 there. As for ECU's fourth-year coach, Mike Houston is trying to win a season opener with the Pirates for the first time. Look at the key matchups here. North Carolina State's defense against ECU. Holt Alters. Alters is a dual threat quarterback closing in on multiple programs records, including most yards rushing by a quarterback, most passing yards, and total offense. So he can throw the ball, he can run the ball. So the NC State's defense got to be ready, got to be on cue. When they rush the passer, they got to make sure they stay in their lanes, don't have no opening. If he takes advantage of getting out of that pocket, that's some dangers there for ECU. And that's what ECU wants to try to do, establish the run. They need to establish the run and get North Carolina State. North Carolina does have one of the best linebacking cores in Wilson and Miles. So, North Carolina State is going to be up there in that front seven. They got ECU's Dolphins Lions got to not have any penalties, too many penalties, and don't have too many miscues, and don't have too many empty possessions against North Carolina State to have a chance to win this football game today. The player also North Carolina State, you got the quarterback Devin O'Leary. Everything starts with the veteran passer and preseason ACC player of the year. Larry threw for 35 touchdowns with 5 interceptions last year. But ECU running back Keon Mitchell ran for 1,132 yards and 9 touchdowns last season. The Pirates could use a strong performance from him to soften up the Wolfpack's defensive front. He also set to return the kickoff. So that's going to be a dual threat right there. The special teams in North Carolina State needs to be alive and need to be well. They need to kick the ball out of the end zone and get them to start at the 25-yard time. They get a chance to run it back here. So that's a lot of issues here. That's looking at North Carolina State, looking at Larry's. I think Emu, that wide receiver, he's gone. So they're gonna be listening. They're gonna be looking for Walker. They're gonna be looking for their wide receiving core. So that's got to be the time and tell here for that. The facts and the figures looked at here. North Carolina State is ranked number 13 in the nation. Matchup is the best in this association preseason college football poll since 1975. ECU won the last meeting in Greenville 33-30 in September 2016, though North Carolina State has won the two most recent meetings at home close to 2018 season and opened the 2019 schedule by a commanding 92-9 margin. East Carolina has won 7 of the last meetings with the ACC opponents. This is North Carolina State's first road opener since a shutout loss at South Carolina in 2008. So that's a little bit of the history right there, a little bit of a stagnated here. The key of the game is going to be the ECU quarterback. Alters, can he keep North Carolina State's defense off killed? Will this be a close game going into halftime? North Carolina State needs to jump on them quick and it needs to put that doubt out of their mind. They need to put the doubt out of North Carolina State's mind. That's got to be the key here for North Carolina State. Can ECU stay with them? can North Carolina State go ahead and knock them out in the first or second quarter? Will this be a tough game? This is going to be a set barometer. I think the first quarter is going to be close. I think the second quarter could be midway through. A key turnover by North Carolina State could turn the momentum of this football game around, or a key turnover from East Carolina could turn the momentum back to their favor. Which team will be mistake-free? Which team will have less penalties? Like I said, North Carolina State has a little bit more of a reach if they have a little bit more penalties and a little bit more turtle. I think they can overcome that, but ECU cannot overcome their mistakes. And if North Carolina, if ECU, the question is if ECU can make North Carolina State have empty possessions, go 3 and out, and they can score on there every time they're North Carolina State don't score, and if they can move their offense and score a few, some points too. So that's got to be a little bit of a telltale test. So you're not going to shut out NC State because Devin Leary is that good. So I think that's going to be a little bit of a barometer for North Carolina State. Can they do what they need to do here with a crowd? The atmosphere is going to in ECU is outstanding. It's going to be a packed crowd. I mean, North Carolina State outnumbered ECU. This is the first game of the season, tailgate season. Tailgate game. ECU hasn't lost a tailgate game, and you got to look at just North Carolina State is just 1-4 in Greenville, North Carolina. So that's going to be the question here: is a mistake of Greenville something that North Carolina State can overcome? I mean, they only won one time out of 4 tries down there. They're under 500 in Greenville. So that's going to be the question for North Carolina State. Their mindset has got to come in. But the question is, too, their mindset is, they're number 13 ranked team in the nation. With the pressure of that mistake get to North Carolina State. And somehow the first game of the season always could be the upset game here. And this game could make or break North Carolina State too in the national picture wise, not more in the ACC wise, but more in the overall schemes of thing of trying to get into that college playoff, being one of those 4 teams in the college playoffs. So, I mean, a mistake here against ECU could ratify North Carolina State really quickly, could drop them down and could drop them, thing. But within North Carolina State could keep the momentum going for North Carolina State, and they keep marching towards that. Part of the end goal is getting to the first goal is probably getting to the Atlantic Coast Conference championship game, and the second goal is trying to get to that national championship game. That's a tier North Carolina State should look at if they're looking ahead and trying to say, hey, we're going to go to the national championship, forget all this stuff, go to the national championship game. That could set a mindset too. So the question is ECU is going to be up for this game? Is North Carolina State going to be up and to match the intensity of this home crowd pushing ECU? That's got to be the good question here. That's got to be the set for North Carolina State and their mindsets. I mean, some of their fans are, not overlooking this game because this is a heated rivalry right here between ECU and North Carolina State. And that goes all the way back into the 80s, man. I've seen a lot of games at North Carolina, I've been to a lot of games with my sister at North Carolina State. I've been to a lot of games in North Carolina. But the scene back in the 80s at the state fairgrounds at Carter Field Stadium when ECU won the game in the 80s, I mean, all Balaam broke out. I mean, there were fights from both sides. And, I mean, it was just crazy at the North Carolina State game that when ECU won. And so, I mean, if you look at this too, a lot of things as mistakes. We did see one thing go down on Friday night. Let me bring the Friday night score up here. We did see some results from the Friday night game. That kind of really just some shockers. Virginia Tech lost to Old Dominion on a 20-17. I mean, that was a shock. Duke beat Temple. I picked Duke to beat Temple. So I mean, Temple was a shell of a team, really. But look at that Indiana-Illinois game. Brett Bielema has never lost a season opening college football game until that game last night. And I watched some of that tail end of that game. Indiana drove and scored a touchdown to go ahead, and that was it. They defense shut down Illinois. Brett Bielema lost his first game at his first season opener as a head coach ever. He was undefeated to that point. So streaks have stopped. And that streak has stopped last night, Brett Bielema's streak of winning most games. Can North Carolina State knock ECU's tailgate and make them have their first loss as a game been called as a tailgate of the opening of their season. So that's going to be the barometer here, because the big games, they call it a tailgate party. They have never lost a thing when they call the game the tailgate party. So can that be the first thing? Can NC State come out and override their 1-4 mark in Greenville, North Carolina? That's not probably going to be on the minds of NC State. I mean, NC State saying, hey, we need to go in there and rectify this. We need to go ahead and get this win. We need to take the mistake off our backs at Greenville, North Carolina. ECU, on the other hand, has got the home crowd. And teams that, if you look back over the history of ECU, ECU has made some upsets of Miami, North Carolina, especially that big Miami game when Miami first went into ECU. And that game was electric. I was at that game. Was a trip that I took down. My buddy wanted to go down to see because he was in the band. He wanted to go down. He was trying to get a band scholarship at ECU. So we went down to a game to watch and meet the band people and stuff like that for him. So I would have rode down with him. And we went to that game. Dude, ECU put that upset in that game. Boy, that was no other. That was party central. They partied for days down there. So this could be the next thing. This big number 13 team going in there. Can they overtake this number 13 team? They got to play mistake free. They got to have more possession. They got to have more scoring possession than empty possession. State's got to have to keep State from not having. Got to keep State having more empty possessions. That's got to be the key. If State has more empty possession than ECU wins. If State turns ECU over in the second quarter, this game is over. So, but that's got to be the thing here. What did I see the final score be? I say in NC State probably 35. I see East Carolina probably 14. That's what I see right now. I don't see anything that's going to make or break NC State, but like I said, a lot of things could happen in these games. That's why you play the game. You don't play the game on the paper. You look on paper, North Carolina State is going to run away with this game, but you got to play the game on the field, and you got to all these human errors got to be involved. And if NC State can really take over this broadcast and stuff, so that's going to be the ball game. So that's going to be a lot of stuff here. So we got a lot more games here to cover. I'm picking North Carolina State winning this ball game. This is the first road game I have picked today. The last two games were the home games. We come back, we're going to bring it up here. When we come back, it'll be the rivalry of North Carolina State in the ACC. We're going to go we're going to go with South Dakota State, and Iowa will be back. And we got North Carolina and Appalachian State after that. And then we got Delaware at Navy. And then we're going to keep going all the way down. And then we'll be getting to the big games later on today. So stay with us on the All Sports, All Plays College Breakdowns show. I'll be right back after these messages.
All Sports, All Plays. All Sports, All Plays. All Sports, All Plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
What did you say?
I said Kobe Bean Bryant has been overrated ever since he passed away.
Now, I'd say they could lose about 4, but I don't see them losing 5. You know what I mean?
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
This is the Fox D Streaming Network. Register to come on our channel at foxdnetwork.com.
Welcome back to the College Breakdown Show on the All Sports All Place. I am your host, Ray Cruz. My co-host, Montez, is not here today. So I'm bringing you the show all by myself, all the way up to college football kickoff. This is the week 1. We had week 0 last week. We have week 1 this week. Like I said, if you missed the opening here, if you want to know who was winning the pick, I am 7-4 out of the first week. The week 0, and he was 5-6 out of that same thing here. We went and showed here. I'm going to put down the schedule here for this is the 12 o'clock all the way up to the 3:30 game, I believe. Tape, so you can see what's coming on, where the games will be seen here today. So it's down here at the bottom. Let's go back up here, take this thing off here. I am Ray Cruz. So we're going to get ready here. The game that people might have interest in is the Connecticut and UConn game at 12 o'clock. I think UConn will win this game. I think it's going to be close. I think it'll be 33-30. Could go in overtime, but I'm going to pick UConn for the victory at home. The next game we're going to talk about here is the South Dakota at Iowa. South Dakota at Iowa. This is the next game that we're going to really get in our teeth involved in this ball game here coming up. So let's get this thing going here. We're really getting it all crooked up here and stuff, getting cranked up what it needs to be here at 12 o'clock. So let's get down to business here on this occasion here. I gotta get back to the FBS, my notes in the FBS one here. I got some notes on my computer that I need to bring up here. For this game, the game is in a Connect Stadium in Iowa City, Iowa. This is one of the unique place of college football. At the fourth quarter, I like their tradition that they turn around and wave at the kids in the kids' hospital that is built right by the stadium. They can actually look in on I think it's the 5th or 6th, I think 5th through the 7th floor. They actually got a viewing for them to go and actually, if they can't get in, because they cannot go to the stadium. So they get to watch the game from that. For that point of view, and they at the fourth quarter they turn around and wave at them. I think that's very. I like that tradition. I like that very a lot. Kids, is real diehard to me. I have 4 kids. So I mean, any kids with the diagnosis of cancer or anything like that, I really feel sorry for. I keep them in my prayers all the time, and I think that's very special the way Iowa does their family tradition. So I think that's very meticulous. I think it's very nice, and I think it's very well thought of. The temperature is going to be 76 degrees there in Iowa and Iowa City. They're going up against South Dakota State. Let's take a look at here. The matchup predictor is 9.9% chance for for South Dakota State to beat Iowa, 91% to give a chance for Iowa there. There's going to be a lot of things going here into this type of barometer, type of game that this could really be. We know South Dakota, the early line, there's no early line in this ball game. The first meeting ever. What's at stake is Iowa is flying under the radar despite the winning the Big Ten West last year. It's not an unfamiliar position for the Hawkeyes, who often win ugly years in and out, year out. The Hawkeyes can't count on their defense generating as many takeaways as they did a year ago, so offensive improvement is a must. Iowa's offense they got to get going. They have to get going. Their defense is going. Their defense suffers some losses of people leaving, going into the NFL draft, and seniors dropping off. So this has got to be their time to shine. This has got to be their time to get their offense barometer, get this game off the back. Game number 1. We know a lot of mistakes from teams they're going to be the type of issues that a lot of teams going to be at. So I mean, that's got to be some questions on that. So I mean, That's got to be what Iowa needs. Iowa needs to figure out their offense. I mean, their defense is good year in out. I mean, can their offense be what we need to see here? So that's gotta be something that Iowa fans got to worry about here. Is their defense? Can their defense manage what they did last year? Do all these takeaways? They led in college football in takeaways last year. So can they do again this year? Will this be the same? Will this be the same team, same aspect or ratio of interception, the rate they can do here, and what they do? Or whether the Jackrabbits are ranked in the top 3 of the football championship series polls on one of the 2 programs to make the FCS playoffs each of the last 10 years, including the semifinals and a Final Four or of the last 5 years. The key matchup will be our running game versus South Dakota State's front 7. Gabe Williams and LaShawn Williams, not related, formed a 1-2 punch at the running back for our after Tyler Goodson declared for the NFL draft. Their need to produce against a front 7 that returns 4 veteran starters. Jackrabbits wants to force Spencer Pedros into a passing situation. Pedro's passing rating last year ranked 98th nationally, and his receiving core is not deep. South Dakota State University leads the FCS with 21 interceptions. Do you want to go ahead and we'll look at some of the players they need to watch for? Quarterback Mark Gorskowski, who missed the last season because of injuries, returned as a starter. He leads the Jackrabbits to the FCS title game in 2021 spring season and was named Missouri Valley Conference Offensive Player of the Year. Iowa wide receiver Alec Wick is a walk-on who made a fast rise on the depth chart and could get significant playing time if Kagan Johnson is limited or can't play. The Hawkeyes already are missing injury starter Nico Ragini. So that's got to be a situation that you worry about here. I mean, one of their starting wide receivers, they're not deep at the wide receiver core. Can the passing game? Can you force that passing game, or will it be a short pass? You know, because ours is a throwback team. They are a throwback. They run the ball. They need to get short yards on the third down. If they get short yards on third down and they get it close to like 3rd and 1, 3rd and half a yard, they'll go for it more times than none. But you need to keep ours offense. You need to keep the quarterback who has a 98th national passing rating last year, 98th quarterback with the worst passer rating, really. You need to force them into long formations, long field positions, and force him to throw the ball where your defense on the other side is not talented because it's not in the FBS. Within the FCS, they lead the nation in FCS polls as the interception. Can they get picks? Can they get turnovers in Iowa? And that's going to be the question. You know, the mistake in Iowa is they win ugly the year in, year out. They play ugly football. They play the throwback game, run the ball. Short yards, keep your quarterback out of long range and not force and won't force some turnovers. Can he manage the game? Can Iowa put some points on the board with the running game? If you look at this ball game here, if Iowa gets the running game going and they over 300 or 400 yards rushing, Iowa will put this game away quickly and it will be, you know, smooth sailing here in the fourth quarter. But if Iowa can't get the ball moving on the ground, because Goodson is gone, and they're going with a 2-headed monster this time. If they can't get that pressure, they get the running game like they did last year, get them into that short field position. That's got to be the case. That's got to be the good barometer set for yourself there for Iowa. Can Iowa's defense be the defense turning the football over on South Dakota State side of the Jackrabbits thing? So that's going to be a little bit of thing here. What's going to figure? Iowa has won 19 of his last 21 openers. The Hawkeyes are playing with the FCS opponent for the first time since 2018, Northern Iowa. Iowa has an interception of 89 passes since 2017, most of any team. The Hawkeyes picked off a school record of 25 passes last year. San Diego State, South Dakota State University is 2-9 against bowl subdivision opponents since moving to Division I in 2008. The Jackrabbits beat Colorado State 42-23 in the last year's opener. South Dakota State University linebacker Adam Bach, who grew up 12 miles north of Iowa City, is in Salone. Made a team leading 125 tackles with 9.5 tackles for loss and 2.5 sacks. So that's going to be the key for Jackrabbits. Can they get pressure? Can they sack the quarterback? Can they keep Iowa's offense in the long, not short? Forced the 98 passing rating quarterback to beat them. That's got to be the key for them. If South Dakota State can stop the run, keep them in long, they have a chance to win this ball game. If Iowa runs the ball, gets them in short yardage, and pounds the ball, and they get over 300 or 400 yards rushing, Iowa wins this game handily. So that's got to be the situation. That got to be the set parameter of this telecast of this Iowa game here. So that's got to be something that you want to watch for. If you want to watch this game, this is going to be, if you like throwback football, Iowa's the team to watch because they do throwback football for you. In Iowa, they play defense. They play offense. They play the running offense, leads to the passing offense, leads to their defense winning ball games. So they play back the throwback football type deal back in the day there. I have Iowa winning this ball game. I have them winning close, 27-24 over South Dakota Jackrabbits. Okay, moving right along here today. So our next game, what we'll be talking about here today, will be the North Carolina Tar Heels at Appalachian State. Another big game in the state of North Carolina will be coming up today here momentarily. We got a few games here we want to pick out of there. Buffalo at Maryland. I have Maryland winning this game at Byrd Stadium, if they still call it Byrd Stadium. Rutgers against Boston College. This could be a toss-up here. I think Rutgers is going to be a good team here with Graciano's bagging and getting some of his recruits in. I think he could give Maryland a run for his money. But I think Maryland at home is a little bit too big. Boston College is a little bit up there where they need to be right now. I think Boston College wins this game because they're playing at home. All right, we get into the Nick and Pickens of the 12 o'clock game here. It's the North Carolina Tar Heels versus the Appalachian State University Mountaineers at Boone, North Carolina. This game is up in Boone. This game is also a sold out here. I don't understand why. I mean, Boone, reports just came out that North Carolina State and Appalachian State has agreed to a home series starting next year. So Appalachian will now play North Carolina State next year. So the question we see here is, can North Carolina's defense, we seen it a week ago, not good. They didn't get no pressure on Florida A&M, FAMU. They did not get any pressure on them whatsoever. They did play what they needed to do at certain points of the game to win that game. But the defense has to be way better this game, or Appalachian State will take care of you at Appalachian State. That's got to be the key here. You got a game already on your belt. Appalachian State doesn't. So the question now is, can North Carolina go to Boone, North Carolina? And actually, if you look at some of the money line, there is, this game is going to be in Boone, North Carolina. The temperature is going to be 74 degrees at 12 o'clock. This game can be seen on ESPNU. North Carolina is 1-0. Appalachian State has not played a game yet. So that's going to be the tell here. And very interesting here. This game is, I knew what it was going to be. I knew the barometer matchup. Barometer was going to be close on the ESPN.com. ESPN.com has them at 54.7% chance with North Carolina winning, 45.3% chance of Appalachian State won. Appalachian State has turned this program around. They have, but you got an interesting concept of this ball game is Appalachian State came to North Carolina and whooped North Carolina's butt. I'm a North Carolina fan. I can tell you right out, they came in there and they played great. They played serious football. They beat us, and there's nothing we can say about it. They came and beat us. Matt Brown, this is an interesting thing here. Matt Brown got his first head coaching job at Appalachian State University in Boone, North Carolina. Appalachian State got their name because they upset Michigan in Ann Arbor. So Appalachian State is no used to being the underdog. They're our team. They're scary. They can throw the ball. They can run the ball. Your defense got to be on cue. interesting thing for North Carolina is game time decision on Josh Down. Is he going to play? That top wide receiver from North Carolina. Grimes, is he still in that concussion protocol or injured neck? He could be a game time decision. So that means, guess what? That means that they're going to leave the freshman in there that got picked on by Fim New most of the game, and he's going to have to step up big time. He got full practice in this week with the number one unit. He's got to be more they got to put more pressure on the receivers. They're letting the receivers come off the line and they're getting beat quickly because if you don't put no jabs if you don't jam the receiver at the line and they're running 5 yards, knock them off their pass route, the timing with the quarterback, Appalachian State is going to pick you apart. No doubt about it. And if they watch Fim New, guess what they're going to see? They're going to see the same passing concept that Fim New passed at them. A little bit more because Appalachian State has a little bit more off their passing tree of these short passes. You get you looking past, they're going to throw you a bomb. They're going to throw a bomb deep. And plus, they're playing, and North Carolina's now playing their first true road game of the season. So it's the first road game. They got a little bit of pressure coming up there because this is what Boone needs. They need a team like North Carolina. They need a team like North Carolina State. They need teams up there to come up there and come and boost some of the economies because when this team comes, they bring fans. North Carolina has a lot of fans up in the mountain areas of North Carolina. It's a sellout crowd. They even added 2,500 more seats in the stadium. I don't know exactly where they put them at, but they added 2,500 more seats for this game. So this game is a really sellout game. This is really a thing. The spread is Appalachian is an underdog by 2, +2 for North Carolina. The money line is +115 to -135. You want to play in the money line. If you're playing the over and under, it's 56.5 is the over and under in this ball game. If you look at the passing right now, Drake May is 29 out of 37, 294 yards, 5 TDs, no interceptions. Their freshman running back had 14. Hampton had 14 carries, 101 yards, 2 touchdowns. Josh Down had 9 receptions, 78 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And that was all against FMU here. So let's go a little bit here into a little bit of a preview here. Excuse me, get something to drink real quick here. Okay. So if you look at it here, North Carolina, like I said, coming in 1-0. The line is North Carolina's about half a point according to the line in Vegas. Series is tied at 1 game. They only played 2 games in the series. They both are 1-1. What's at stake? In-state bragging rights. Appalachian State's defeated North Carolina in 2019, and Chapel Hill lost that. Didn't sit well with the Tar Heels fans, given the Mountaineers have always been viewed as the little brother. But Appalachian State has repeatedly found itself in the top 25 since moving up to the FBS and has made its mark in the Sun Belt Conference with 4 titles. This game has been sold out since July with more than 30,000 fans expected at Kidd Brewer Stadium and Boone, North Carolina. Both schools have high aspirations and receive votes in the AP top 25. A victory here could be a huge momentum boost for the winner. And that's true. A win here for North Carolina will be a big boost for North Carolina. A big win for ASU. Get them started for their season. Get them started where they need to be. So that's going to be the thing. The key matchups here is North Carolina State, Chase Bryce versus UNC secondary. The thing is, North Carolina has film on, and they played Chase Bryce when he was at Duke. This is a different Chase Bryce right now. Chase Bryce last year was phenomenal. Bryce is now in his 6th season, threw for a school record of 3,337 yards and 27 touchdowns last season for the Mountaineers, who finished 10-4. He'll face the Tar Heel secondary that looks very unsuspect last week against Florida A&M, but UNC allowed unhurriedly quarterback Jeremy Musa to complete 28 out of 38 passes, 279 yards, 2 touchdowns. Bryce will have to find some new weapons after 4 Appalachian State receivers signed the NFL contracts this past season. Players wise, UNC wide receiver Josh Downs, the third-year wide receiver, is a threat to take it to the end zone. And anytime he touches the ball, he had 9 catches for 78 yards and 2 touchdowns in last week's Week 0 opener. He ranked 10th in the bowl subdivision with 1,335 yards received. Appalachian State running back Nate Noel and Kerman Peoples both have had 1,000-yard season, with Noel doing it last year and Peoples did in 2020. But the Mountaineers should be strong up front, with 4 of the 5 starting returning on the offensive line. The key fact notes of UNC, Mack Brown has Appalachian State head coach in 1983. He was 32 years old at the time, before working as Barry Sanders' offensive coordinator at Oklahoma in 1984. But the Tar Heels quarterback Drake May became the first player in program history to throw 5 touchdowns passes in his first start. This is the first of the 2 straight road games against Sun Belt Conference opponents for UNC. Tar Heels travel to Georgia State next week. Appalachian State had last 5 games versus Power 5 schools have been decided by less than 7 points. Appalachian State, Alabama, Clemson, and Oklahoma are the only FBS schools programmed with 9+ wins every year since 2015. The Mountaineers lost 7 defensive starters from last year's team, and that's going to be the key right there. Can Appalachian State's defense stop North Carolina's offense? North Carolina's offense didn't have any problems against FAMU. It's just that Carolina's defense did. And then what defense are we going to see here today? Or is this going to be an improved defense from week? Usually you improve your defense from week 1 to week 2. Because week 1 you got a game film to correct their mistakes, what they need to do better, what kind of focus. Is Gene Chislett going to get them into the lock after that game and really pound them in practice this week? That's got to be the key for North Carolina today, is their defense. The offense is going to probably take care of themselves. But Carolina cannot keep relying on their offense winning ball games. The defense got to pitch in this season as the season goes along. And this is the top game right now. This game right here, you got to be focused on this game. Everything else is out of your mind. This game has to be a focus. This game in you leave Chapel Hill on Friday night, your mindset should be on Appalachian State, period. If I was Mack Brown, I would have played that freaking Appalachian State game from 2019 all the way up there. Keep their minds distracted, because when you arrive in Boone, North Carolina, they have billboards. They have signs all the way up to travel, all the way up into the thing to put in Carolina's doubts. So to keep their eyes out of that situation, I would have played that game film all the way up there. Get them fired up. Do what you need to do to fire this team up. The defense has to play today for North Carolina to win this ball game. If same concept like ECU and North Carolina State, if North Carolina has the most scoring opportunities and reduce on their scoring and have more least empty possession on their possession, and don't let ASU steal into their possessions. And when we talk about stealing in possessions is if you don't go 3 and out, or you don't turn the ball over, you don't fumble the ball. That's what I'm talking about. That's the key what I'm talking about. If you have 3 and out, that's empty possessions for North Carolina. That's the team stealing your possessions. If Appalachian State can do what they need to do and run the ball, and Chase Bryce don't turn the ball over, ASU can win this ball game. No hands of doubt about it. Can North Carolina come up here and win this ball game? I'm going to tell you what, this is not going to be a blowout game, period. If it's going to turn into a blowout, it's going to be ASU blowing Carolina out. But can North Carolina minimize their possession and turn the ASU team over? If they can turn the ASU team over, then North Carolina can win this ball game. I think this game is going to be close. I think it's going to come down to a field goal. I think Carolina should win 37-34 in this ball game. So, but a big game, big test for ASU and for North Carolina. I ain't talking about the Arizona Sun Devil. If Jay's listening, one of my friends on the network here, he's an ASU fan. He's a Arizona State fan. They go by ASU too. I'm talking about Appalachian State University there, Jay. So, let's continue right along here. Let's look for the next game here. The next game I want to talk about is the Navy versus Delaware game. Navy versus Delaware is the next game I'm going to talk about. Let's look at a little bit here. The matchup predictor here is 9.9 for Delaware, 90% for the Navy. Navy last year didn't fail so well. They're playing at the Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium up in Annapolis, Maryland. Temperature up there is 81 degrees. Capacity is 34,000. The game starts at noon. You can see this on CBS Sports Network. CBS Sports Network. You can see this game on. Let's take a look here, a little bit of history here. We know Navy runs the triple option offense. They did have some wrinkle added into it a couple of years ago. They do pass out of there, triple option a little bit more. Can they have a better year than they did last year? That's got to be the good thing here. Oh, my boy. Hold on here. Hold the horses here. Let's bring my boy on here. Hey, my co-host. Hey, Dre. How you doing, man? How you doing?
What's going on, my man, Ray?
What's up? Hey, man.
Day, right? It's our day.
Yeah, it's college day, man. Hey, I'm gonna go. I've already talked about the Texas A&M, the Colorado, Michigan, North Carolina State, East Carolina, Central Connecticut, and UConn, and all the way. I went all the way down to North Carolina. So I want to get your picks here for the games I already discussed real quick. Who you got for the Texas A&M and Sam Houston?
Texas A&M. And you up on me by the games on last week 0. I think you winning, right?
Yeah. You want to see it?
Yeah, I think you winning.
That's your record right there. 5 wins, 6 losses to my 7 wins, 4 losses.
Ray, I thought we were friends, man.
Hey, we are friends, man. I just,
Dre, this is what you did.
That's what you did. Yeah. Yeah, man. That's what you did, man. That's what you did last week. Who you got, Michigan? You got khaki pants or you got Colorado State?
Give me khaki pants, man. I'm believing in this dude. All
right. North Carolina State versus ECU. North Carolina's 1-4 in Greenville. This game is in Greenville.
I'm taking North Carolina State. I'm thinking outside of the box on this.
Right now we're on totem pole together. So Central Connecticut and UConn.
You said Central Connecticut and UConn?
Yeah.
The same damn school?
No. University of UConn. University of Connecticut.
UConn. Give me UConn.
All right, we're on the same page there.
Give me the Utes. UConn.
South Dakota State versus Iowa.
Give me Iowa. Way to go, Sarah. Way to give 110%.
Buffalo versus Maryland.
Fear the turtle. Fear the turtle.
Rutgers versus Boston College.
One quick thing.
Yeah.
Has that program rebounded from that kid dying a few years ago? Has it really recovered yet from that?
Oh, you talking about
kid on the defensive side died?
Oh, from Maryland?
Yeah. It was right around the time they changed those helmets and nobody knew what was going on. It was around that time.
Well,
I don't think that program has recovered since then.
No, because they fired Friesen when they left the ACC, and then they brought the UConn coach Etzel in. He didn't do nothing. They fired him.
Yeah.
And now they got can't think of his name now.
I know but I think that program has not rebounded or recovered since that incident happened with that kid on the
they went from, I think they changed the name of the stadium now. They're trying to get that mistake.
Probably. I think it's named after the kid.
I think so. I think they changed the name of the stadium. So,
sorry about that. I was just thinking about that. Yeah.
Yeah. How about Rutgers versus Boston College? Who you got? This game is in Boston College.
Give me Boston College. Give me that. It was right there on the campus.
All right, here we go. North Carolina versus Appalachian State.
Oh, man. Where they playing at?
Boone, North Carolina.
Ooh, man. That's tough. Give me Carolina. Give me Carolina. That's a tough one, though.
All right, so we're all on the same page so far.
Okay.
We're all on the same page. All right, the next game we're going to be talking about is Delaware versus the Navy Midshipmen.
Look here, man. I'm going Navy all the time. I'm going Navy all the time, bro. Go Navy. Go Navy.
Yeah, this game is pretty simple. Is right. you had all off season for Delaware to work for this option because you had all season. You knew that Navy was going to be your first game of the season, so your spring training was geared towards the Navy's offense. Your fall practice is guaranteed in Navy.
Over under 10 passes for the Navy.
But the question is, like I played in the option offense. I know exactly what they're talking about.
Right.
You can prepare all you want to, but you don't have the same skill set as the midshipmen. Who's got players there fit their schemes perfectly because you can't go out and get these talented players because all the prestiges that you got to have to get in. You got to have a congressman get you in, a letter from a congressman, a letter from a sitting official to get your recommendation, get into the Naval Academy. So their athletes are a little bit different.
Right.
So they got athletes that fit their system perfectly because they pay attention to detail.
That's the key phrase you made right there, Ray. Attention to detail. I like that. Attention to detail. So now the question is, does Delaware pay attention to details enough where they can stay in the lanes? If they get out of the lanes, Navy, the midshipmen is going to run all day long on them. You got that right. You definitely got that right.
The question is, to stop an option offense is stopping them on first down. First and second down, you got to stop them and keep them long and force them to pass.
Yeah.
And you said under 10. You said under 10 passes for the Navy today?
I said the over-under is 10 passes. I got the over.
Now, the question is, does it count if they do a fake punt and the punter throws the ball? Does that count?
No.
Okay.
I need to find a quarterback. Tackle, tack, because all I want is a quarterback.
So now the question is, can they get back to the quarterback they had before all this? Last year's quarterback, they was okay. It was subpar. This year, did he make a step forward for the Naval Academy and put them in the position where they need to be? Because the Navy's offense, you got to get 5 yards on first. You got to get at least 5 yards. You got to be short, third and short, or, And the question is, can Delaware stop them on fourth down? Because if they get third and short and they can't make it. So,
defense and special teams going to win this game. Offense has nothing to do with it. So that's why I'm going Navy. Defense and special teams. Field position, time possession. Engage in the opportunity of chance, gentlemen. Engage in the opportunity of chance. Go Navy.
But then, when you play the Navy, any Air Force, Navy, Army academies, they're always good at paying attention to details because that's what they instill in the Navy. We should know firsthand because we're both Navy guys.
Say it one more time. What branch were we in?
Navy, the best branch in the service.
There it is.
Go Hey, all your Air Force people, you listening out there? Y'all ain't nothing but preps.
Get them.
Y'all have not seen a hard day in your life when you go out somewhere. Because I'm gonna tell you what. Hold on, I'm gonna tell you real quick here. When I was in Afghanistan, when the Air Force came to set up their base, the first 7 trucks were their PX. I'm serious. The first 7 trucks was their PX, McDonald's, Subway, Kentucky Fried Chicken, and guess what? They didn't want to let us go over there and eat.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know this. The McDonald's and the Navy have a contract together. I don't know if that still exists, but McDonald's and the Navy had a contract together. We had McDonald's everywhere in the Navy.
Yeah,
where the Navy and McDonald's roll together.
Well, the one at Mayport is completely gone. They have no McDonald's on Mayport base, naval base no more. No, they have a Panda Express and a Dunkin' Donuts on base now.
I've never had Panda Express in my life.
Yeah, they have a Panda Express and a Dunkin' Donuts on the naval base now. Over at Mayport. But get back to the Air Force real quick. When they put their tents up, they have AC in their tents.
What? They glamping?
Yeah, they brought the AC.
They out there glamping?
Yeah, they brought their AC units and put them out there in Afghanistan when it was hot. So I don't want to hear about everything. Army, Navy, and Marines all have it tough out there. You got living tents and hot and no AC, no nothing.
Air Force does not work hard. They just sit there. They just sit there. Yeah. They got back problems and knee problems and foot problems. That's it from sitting.
Yep.
But shout out to the Air Force people. Shout out to you guys.
Yeah, that's the thing. So I mean, that's something that you got to really look into the Air Force. Really, if you want to go to Air Force, you don't want nothing to do. That's the branch for you.
Join the Air Force. If you don't want to be lazy the rest of your life and get paid a lot of money, go to the Air Force.
Yeah, that's just.
I think we picked the wrong branch, Ray. We should have the Air Force. They get paid for anything.
All righty. Moving right along, our next game will be the Richmond Spider versus Virginia Cavaliers in Scott Stadium here. The predictor right now, ESPN, is showing 3.3% for Richmond, 96.7% for Virginia. Virginia coaching change. What do we look at the new Cavaliers offense on Armstrong at quarterback still? You still got some of the pieces there. They did lose a key defensive player who's now playing for the University of North Carolina. So now the question is, new coaches, new scheme, new everything. What do we see out of the Virginia Cavaliers' new look under the head coach? Mendenhall is not there no more.
That's one thing about old college football programs that people are used to. When we get a new college coach in, we wonder if they're going to try to bring back what we're reminiscent of or bring his own philosophy and coaching style in. We're so impatient on that we end up booing the situation. We don't give it a chance. And then the team goes back to what used to work, but nobody's ready for that. I want to see what this Virginia coach is going to do. Because the Cavaliers used to be a receiving core, a defensive core, special teams, maybe a quarterback here and there. They're like a Swiss Army knife of team when it comes to talent playing on Saturdays here. So I don't want to put my expectations high or low. I want to see what's going to happen with Virginia, but I got Virginia winning this game.
Yeah, Richmond, Virginia is at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time on the ACC network. Right now, there's no line out on this game. The series record is Virginia leads the series 29-3-2. What's at stake? The Cavaliers begin the Tony Elliott era, hoping to get off onto a better start than the Bronco Mendenhall era did. That began with a 37-20 loss to Richmond at home in 2016. Does Tony Allen make that same mistake?
I don't think so. I know the first game in college, well, outside of week 0, this is week 1. Week 1 of college football,
yeah.
A lot of anticipation, not just on the kids, but the coaching staff as well. Everybody trying to prove they belong, show you I know what I'm doing, but instead we need to just break it on down to its purest form and let these guys play football. You practice all this time. Coach done told you what you need to be prepared for. Now it's just seeing if they listen. I don't want to put that much pressure on nobody on week 1.
Yeah, always week 1 is you get them penalties, you get the mental mistakes, you get the cramps in first game.
That's the first quarter. That's the first quarter of every game. We saw what happened Thursday night. We saw what happened last week. The first quarter, everybody is excited. It's like taking a girl home you thought you never would get. You get excited. You get nervous. You think you do things you should not do. If you rethink the process, you take that date again and do it completely different.
Now the question is, do they take what Virginia Tech did against OD and Old Dominion and lost? Now will this transpire in Virginia playing Richmond?
Yeah, I think no. I don't think nobody wants to have those days of yesteryear being upset. You can over-prepare. Yes, that is such a thing. You can over-prepare, and then you could pull Alabama, Nick Saban, like, don't underestimate the expectations of your opponent because of the name of the school. They still have All-Americans over there. Those are D1 players too.
And if you look at it too, Richmond's quarterback Reese Yuski and wide receiver Jacob Hearns against the Virginia defense, both former VMI stars. Yuski is the quarterback with 7,877 yards passing, and Hearns is 226 career receptions for 3,006 yards, leading all returning players at the FCS level. The Cavaliers gave up many big plays last year, mostly in the passing game. Do they do the same thing here? I
love transfers out of VMI. I love the untold stories out of kids that slid into the NFL undrafted, assigned from a practice squad out of VMI, as we talked about what the military does for you and what it means to you. And when you play a team sport, I think that military comes to mind, and it prepares you for the unexpected, and it prepares you for everything. But I'm still thinking Virginia's going to pull this game out without thinking about the whole coaching scenario. We don't want this to happen. Don't overthink the process. One game at a time.
All right, Tony Alley does get this guy. Virginia wide receiver Lavelle Davis is 6'7". Damn. Was a freshman sensation in 2020 before missing last season with injury. He's got a long distance speed, size, and joining an already highly talented receiving core for the Cavaliers. So now, do we see basketball plays come involved here with him posting up the defensive corner?
6'7"?
Yeah, 6'7".
What position he play?
He's playing wide receiver.
Good Lord. He's almost tall as that kid that came out of Texas high school a few years ago, but he had that crucial injury his senior year, so we don't know what's going to happen with that kid on the college level. I think Texas has him. But a 6'7" receiver, that should be no excuses.
And he's got long distance speed and size.
That's what she said. Long as his hands are big. If he got small hands and 6'7", we got to talk to his mama. I mean, I need to see the hand size on a receiver that size. I need more information. That's not enough data. 6'7" and a receiver, what the hand? It better be 19.5 inches. It better be 19.5 inches. Better be.
Yeah, Richmond's last 3 season opening road wins have come against Atlantic Coast Conference foes: Duke in 2009 and 2011, Virginia in 2016. Before the 2016, the Spiders had not beaten the Cavaliers since 1946 in Richmond, Virginia. Virginia's quarterback Brendan Armstrong set the ACC record with 404.5 yards per game last season. No other quarterback in the history of the conference averaged more than 350 yards per game in the season. Cavaliers returned 89% of their total yardage from last season when they averaged about 515 yards, third in the country, but needs to replace their entire offensive line.
Did they?
Yeah, they got to replace their whole entire offensive line.
He threw for over 400 yards a game, and they talking about the offensive line.
Yeah, they had to replace them. Yeah, they had to replace all the starters.
He threw over 400 yards a game.
Yeah.
But they got to replace the offensive line.
Yeah. New starters. All new starters on the offensive line.
I would show them all game film from the last 2 seasons and say, this is what, if you do this, this is what he can do. He can chuck it.
I don't think it's going to be close. I think Virginia's going to blow them out.
Virginia going to kill them. What, as they say, mollywop them?
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be even that close. I mean, that's going to be that's 6'7" wide receiver though.
It's a big one. That's the shortstop of the Pirates and Aaron Judge. Some big.
That's a basketball player. That's a basketball player right there.
6'7". That's taller than Michael Jordan if you're scoring at home, guys, and shorter than Kobe Bryant. So figure that out.
I mean, last time I seen a 6'7" guy to play wide receiver was a tight end named Rodney Rogers. He was 6 foot. He was 6'6" in high school. My senior year. They played at Wake Forest University.
I saw was at that country concert I went to 2 weeks ago. Shout out to the Turnpike Troubadour. That dude was that tall.
Wow,
I'm
dude.
6'2". The average height of that concert, this country concert I went to, was 6'5". That was the average height of the concert. And everybody goes to the gym. I start the gym Not this Monday, but next Monday. I'm working out right. Join the gym. I'm going to get buff.
Yeah, I've been working out for the last 2 weeks.
I'm going to get buff, man. Damn it. I got a lot of time on my hand. I'm on the market.
Yeah. Hey. Dude, I was 365 pounds.
What?
A year ago.
Shut up.
Yeah, I was 365 pounds. I'm down to 250 now.
You weigh less than me now.
I'm down to 250.
I'm 6'2", 255.
I'm 5'10", 250 pounds.
Look at that. You hear that, ladies?
And my body frame is supposed to be for a 6'5" guy.
I don't pay attention to that chart shit. I learned that bullshit in the Navy. Remember that Navy chart? Remember that?
Yeah.
What we call it?
Oh, you know that chart? Yeah, you know the PE chart was done after. It was done after a guy who ran a mile in like some odd minutes, and he was only like 20%. He was like 7% body fat.
I hated doing the PT test every year. I hated doing it. I used to, man. I mean, I never failed it. I just didn't like doing it.
Dude, I ran a mile and a half in 9:15.
My fastest was 8:45 in a mile. That was my fastest time, 8:45 in a mile.
Dude, I had a track star in my boot camp, and I just found out about 3-4 years ago when I found my 4'11" company commander. She said, "Yeah, they made a bet that I will beat him." I didn't know they were making bets. They were putting bets down on a PRT in boot camp.
Right.
And this guy was talking so much trash, and I dusted him in the mile and a half. So, but yeah, so I mean, so we got the Virginia game. So far, we are on tap right now. We're on tap. All right, who you got? Northern Iowa against the Air Force. Would the preppy Air Force win this ball game?
As crazy as we just talked about the Air Force, I'm gonna take the Air Force in this game.
I think the Air Force.
They always do something crazy on the offensive side.
Yeah, I think the Air Force is gonna fly high on this one. Who you got? The South Missouri. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about this one. Southeast Missouri State against Iowa State.
Got Iowa State.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about this one here.
Okay.
Because this is one of the coaches that could be on the
hot seat for hire for
on the hot seat. Yeah. This is that coach that they didn't do so hot last year. So let's see if we can get a little bit of information here. They're predicting 98.6% for Iowa State to 1.4% on the ESPN predicted. This game is in Ames, Iowa at 2:00. This is on Big 12 Network, ESPN Plus. You can see it there. Line is ISU is favored by 33.5. Under is 55. It's 61,500 capacity in the stadium. Temperature is going to be 75 degrees at this game here. So what do you see? How do you see this game coming out? You see him starting off 1-0 for Iowa State, or is this going to be the year that he's on the hot seat? He's got to be on the hot seat.
So again, we're in a situation where coach is trying to prove himself, trying to tell us that he belongs. This is what I'm trying to do. Listen to me, guys. This is the way it should be done. I think a lot of coaches, when they own the hot seat, they hear the term hot seat. This is when they do things they shouldn't be doing. Should have done this in the beginning, but I think we're going to see a more aggressive approach. But I still think Iowa State going to be a complete team. I don't see like big things happening for them, but understand the process and appreciate the details of the coaching staff. But as long as the coach doesn't go too far in trying to show the alumni and the boosters about what he's about, don't forget you're coaching kids.
The thing I'm looking at is their defense going to be better? I mean, their offense took care of itself, but is their defense going to be better?
That's the thing. I think with this matchup, the defense will get a chance to really, truly believe in the formula of the defense. Whatever they have planned for the defense as far as the the philosophy of the defense going into this game, the outlook, what they worked on all week, and knowing with the defensive captain, defensive coordinator, if everybody's on the same page, we can get this. They can get this. That's the thing. That the first game in college football, not week 0, week 1 of college football, I think the expectations and the energy is really, really high. We're going to see a lot of dumb penalties in the first quarter of all games today. All games will have a dumb penalty because of the high energy.
Yeah, if you're looking at this, the passing last year was pretty at 3,188 yards for Iowa State. Rushing was 1,472 yards from Hall, the running back. Receiver had 987 for Hutchinson. And the defense took care of themselves with Hamill with 80 tackles, and interception was Gene Isn't the second. The safety had 2. He led the team. If you look at it here, the barometer for this thing here for Iowa State is what do they look forward to in their offensive package here and their defensive package? Because they got a lot of stuff they got to replace. They got a lot of people they got to replace, and that defense was not really involved. The defense let too many things happen for the defense last year, and they got this year. They got Himmelbach, who led the linebacking corps at 80 tackles, total tackles, 39 solo, 41 assisted, 1 sack, and 11 for 11 yard loss. If you look at it here, they got their McDonald the 4th. He's coming back with 11.5 sacks.
Right.
And after that, they drop off. They have nobody else that is even close to him. He led the team in sacks with 11.5. The closest person to them is Greg Vaughn, the linebacker, at 1.5. And then Malik Rose, the linebacker, with 3 sacks. None of the other defensive linemen had sacks, except for him.
That's the thing. In this matchup, defense and special teams will come into play. I think we're going to overanalyze the situation with the offensive side of the ball on both sides and coaches trying to prove themselves. But I think the defense is going to set the tone in this one on the special team.
If you look at it here, they don't have Purdy back. The leading passer from last year, he's not here. They got a quarterback that's they got Blake Clark is the senior quarterback, and then the other 3 quarterbacks. You have a sophomore quarterback in Hunter Dickers. Rico Badge is a freshman. So they're suffering in the quarterback. They got 4 quarterbacks, but they're suffering with leadership role. They only have 1 senior, but he didn't play any last year.
Some kids come in with that maturation process. We've all seen freshmen. We say to them, there's no way that's a freshman. And then we've seen freshmen like, you sure you're a freshman? Well, they're acting younger than that. Then we've seen guys come in with a little bit more maturation process where they act like they're beyond a freshman. They understand everything. We don't have to talk to them. There's no coaching here. It's more of a point and a head nod with players like that. So I don't want to overanalyze the freshman. I don't want to overanalyze the classification no more. I got caught up in that a few years ago. I think there's a lot of kids coming into college right now. They're not freshmen. And there are a lot coming in. They're less than a freshman. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I understand
where you're coming from and where you're going and where you're at when it comes to that.
Yeah, I agree with you to a certain point of this, but to me, I think Iowa State is going to probably blow them out anyway.
Oh yeah, they're going to kill them. It's not going to be pretty. That the hospital school or is that Iowa?
Iowa's the hospital.
Hospital, okay.
Yeah, Iowa.
Cyclones. Yeah. Seneca Wallace.
If you look at that aspiration there, that's the thing that we're, you really got to look at too, is you got pressure on the coach. Coach is now has got a lot of pressure on him, man.
Right.
Well, coaching these days now, if your team ain't going to be that good, you got a lot of pressure on you. It's as simple as that. Now, does he lose his job at the end of the year? Do Iowa win enough games and get in the bowl game? Does that save his job?
I don't think it depends on what bowl game. If it's the 6-win bowl game, or is it a 9-game bowl game or a 10-game? It's a big difference. And now we got the expansion of the playoffs. So it all depends on what the alumni expectations are and the boosters are with him. Because a 6-win bowl game is totally different than a 10-win bowl game.
Yeah. All right, Bowling Green versus UCLA. Who you got?
Give me UCLA.
Yeah, UCLA. All right. Number 11 versus number 11 Oregon versus number 3 Georgia in Atlanta today at 3:30.
Oh man.
p.m.
I'm gonna let you go first.
Are you gonna let me go first?
You go first.
Well, I mean, unsurprisingly, you got a quarterback that went from a storytelling to a movie making aspiration in Georgia. So I mean, he solidified that quarterback position. Because you seen Daniels now, he's at West Virginia. So now is Stetson Bennett is the actual quarterback now for Georgia. He has no stiff competition right now. But that said, Georgia comes in a 16.5 favorite over the Oregon Ducks. Do we see the Oregon Ducks do what they did against Ohio State, go into the horseshoe of Ohio State and win? Did they come down to Georgia and win? That's going to be the key.
I'm wondering what uniforms they're going to wear.
This game is at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. 83 degrees of temperature, but we know Atlanta's got this stadium. You can even open the roof or close the roof. So I mean, the temperature is not going to be any good. The game's at 3:30 on ABC.
We closing the roof today.
Capacity of the stadium is 75,000 people. We will see every bit of 75,000 people in this ball game.
Yeah,
in the stands. So that's not a big thing. What's interesting to hear is the ESPN matchup predictor. I always like to go to their predictor to see what they roughly this game is. 8.5% chance of Oregon beating Georgia today. Georgia has a 91.5% chance of beating. If you want to go with the money line, Oregon's plus 550, Georgia's minus 800. If you want to go to over and under route, it's 54.5 as the over and under in this ball game.
Okay, and you said you got Georgia winning this?
I haven't made my mind up yet.
Okay,
we're going through some notes here before I make my decision. All right, I'm gonna go. So a significant chunk of Georgia's defense for the ages has moved on to the NFL. What can we expect from a major drop-off in 2022? Don't count on it. The reigning national champions still have plenty of talent on that side of the ball, on the side of the line, led by massive lineman Jalen Carter, linebacker Nolan Smith, and defensive back Khalil Ringo and Christopher Smith. So Georgia's defense they think it was going to be suspect this year. I don't think so. I think Georgia's probably got a little bit better, but minus what Walker did and minus what Davis did in that line. So Davis took a lot of pressure off of Carter. Now Carter's going to have all the pressure that Davis had.
Right.
How does Kirby Smart counteract that?
So that's the thing. The next man up with Georgia, there are about 5 schools in the SEC. The next man up is really the man that should be playing. So the role is going to already fit in with these guys here. So I don't think the backup role in Georgia is the problem on defense. The thing is the overhypeness of the anticipation of Georgia going back to the national championship, winning it, and being the hottest thing in Atlanta since Freaknik. That is the issue with Georgia football team. Stop listening to us, listen to your coach, and go out there and apply what we did on the board and in practice. Make them work. Other than that, I'm not going to say nothing. I'll let you make your pick.
All right. They'll get a chance to claim the spotlight when number 3 Georgia versus the number 11 Oregon getting the Chick-fil-A kickoff game at Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta. Nolan Smith said, I've been a Georgia fan all my life. Duh. I hate when players do that, man. You know you're from Georgia.
On my door. I'm sorry. I thought somebody was knocking on my door. Go ahead.
You know, he made a statement. I've been a Georgia fan all my life. Dolan Smith, the linebacker. Okay, duh. That is one of the things that always been great around here, the Georgia defense. So I'm 100% not worried about the drop-off is standard just because we had a lot of guys leave last year. It's a standard of Georgia defense that we play at a high level. But you do play at a high level. You got to in the SEC with Alabama. You know, Florida, back in the years in Florida, you got to stop leaking all them and Tebow and Waffle and all those great things. So yeah, Georgia defense has always been there, but they didn't have the offense to match up with them. Last year they had both. You know, so and all of Georgia's had 15 players taken in the NFL draft, a record since the NFL went to a 7-round format. 15 players.
Damn.
That's a lot.
Them kids eating. Them parents happy.
Oh yeah. But the guy on the opposite sideline is certainly familiar with Georgia's ability to shut down opponents. They're going against their own defensive coordinator from 2022. What kind of wrinkles does he have planned for the offensive thing? Because he's been talking to his offensive coordinator. He's been, hey, this is their tendency. Does Georgia just mix up their defense and take Linehan off his stride, or did they keep the same defense they had same defense scheme they had from last year?
It's like buying a used car from an owner. He can tell you everything about that car. You don't care. You're going to make your modifications no matter what. That's what I think Oregon is going to do. I know he came from Georgia, but the approach is different. We talked about a few games ago about new coaches, their philosophy, what they're trying to do. I think Oregon defense has been the only thing that nobody has ever talked about when it comes to Oregon. We always talk about Oregon's offense, how fast it is, how disciplined it is. But when it comes to the defense, that's one thing that's been lacking with Oregon. So I'm thinking now they have a defensive-minded individual. I think now they're going to try to switch that page and show everybody, hey, there are two sides of this football. Let me show you what the defense can do as well.
Yeah,
the offense always put up points, but that defense will give up. The offense put up 54 points, but the defense will give up 49. You know, and those that needs to stop. That needs to stop. So I'm thinking this could be one of those games where the defense is not, I don't want to say tested, but show me what you learned from me in this game. Right.
And then if you look at it too, Dan Linehan served the last 3 years as Kirby Smart's defensive coordinator. He takes over for having succeed Mario Cristobal at Oregon. He put out this quote: "There are definitely some feelings of excitement for me to play a team that I have care about as was a big part of for the long time." Linehan conceded. Also, Georgia Kirby Smart put out this saying he agreed to a 10-year extension worth $110 million. He downplayed the significance of facing a former member of his staff. Does that sound familiar?
It does.
Nick Saban.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be tough, man. When you're seeing a coach that was a part of a program, I mean, outside of what we see, there's no telling how he affected other student body members in the community as well, because there are things that go on in college football that we don't know everything. But the stuff we do know, okay, I get it. But the things we don't know, and these kids are clapping and giving a standing ovation when they see an old coach, you say to yourself, what else did he do to this school? I wonder about that. Like it happened Thursday night. An old coach came back to the school that broke his back, and these kids kneeled to the ground. I'm like, that's more than a coach when that happened. That's more than a coach. In the middle of the game, this team came over and greeted their former football coach that had to retire due to back problems. That's what I'm talking about. So it all depends on how this approach is taken between this game tonight, between Georgia and Oregon, as I like to call them. But I don't want to overdo it for Uga. But don't let the hopes go down with one loss early. If you have one loss and you one of those teams, everybody talking about being a playoff pitcher, that one loss before Halloween is not as bad as everybody thinks.
Right.
So I haven't made my pick yet, but there's something going on in this game. There's something going on.
I'm going to tell you a little bit more about this game here.
Okay.
Bo Nix, the transfer out of Auburn, is the Oregon quarterback. After starting the past 3 seasons at Auburn, one of the Georgia's biggest Southern Conference rival, guess what? Nix is 0-3 against the Bulldogs. Does that change today? Does that, in your opinion, does he change it? I'm gonna tell you what. I already got my mind made up. I think Georgia's going to win. I think it's going to be a little bit closer than what people think.
Very close. Very close game.
I wouldn't be surprised if it takes Stetson Bennett leading the team down for a game-winning drive.
I say one possession. Whether it's a field goal or a touchdown. One of those. It's going to be a one-possession game, and I like. We all love when we see a family name affiliated with a powerhouse in college football, and they have a kid. We say, "Oh, it'd be nice if his kid goes in the footsteps." We know that. Sometimes that kind of messes with a kid's head. And I think that's what happened to Nix. The expectations of him being at Auburn really got to him. And with the transfer portal, it helped him. Now he can become the quarterback. I know the last name is familiar with everybody, but this kid is trying to wear his own clothes, his own uniform, and present his own game. So I'm thinking this could be, instead of we talk about coaches with their coaching debut, I think a transfer portal quarterback playing their first game at their new school today, they're going to light it up. And I got big things this guy. I think I got Oregon winning this game. Sorry, my good friend Cassie Joe. She's a huge UGA fan. She went there. Most passionate Georgia fan I've seen in my entire life. This lady, Ray, you got to see this lady watch college football. She off the chain. She
you can't be no more off the chain than I am in North Carolina, because I sit here and yell at the TV. My wife comes out and tells me to shut up all the time. One year I watched Carolina football. No lie, I almost took the TV when we was living in an apartment on the 3rd floor. I almost took the TV and chunked it out the door.
I've been there. I almost picked up this 70-inch last year, threw that fucker right out the window.
Yeah,
because Florida. We lost the game to a team, that Kentucky game. Almost picked up this 70-inch and threw it right out the window.
Yeah, if we look at it this way, coming off the storybook season, Stetson Bennett, but also I wanted to get you a comment on this quote here about Kirby Smart. I know who the quarterback is to be. I'm not worried about that. He's talking about Bo Nix. Mm-hmm. Should he be worried?
Yeah, I would. So, again, this is a kid who left a school to get up under the name Shadow, that went to another school to completely change the identity with the same name. I think the first half is going to tell a lot about this game. A lot. Maybe a 7-3 score at halftime or 3-0 at halftime. Either way, I got the Ducks winning this, man. It's just something. There's too much pressure on Kirby. Kirkster. There's too much pressure on him to do the right thing, to repeat, represent the ATL, do it for us. It's too much pressure. That's a lot of pressure. Georgia's in a situation they have not been in ever. Ever. And he wants to be the heir apparent.
Well, I mean, if you look at it too, Stetson Bennett says, he quoted, this is from Stetson Bennett himself, I'm probably a little bit more excited than I was last year, but also Atlanta Falcons quarterback Marcus Mariota, who won the Heisman at Oregon, will be the honorary captain for his alma mater. Mariota believes the Ducks, who are a 16.5-point underdog, has a chance to win the game. Do you believe his? I mean, of course you believe because you picked Oregon to win. So,
right.
Yeah.
I did. I really did. I picked them.
Georgia has a 3-headed monster. Georgia's offense has a chance to create all sorts of matchup problems with an elite trio of tight ends. Brock Bowers is coming off his dynamic freshman season. Daryl Washington is a quiet handful at 6'7". 270 pounds, and Edric Gilbert has a stellar year at LSU before transferring to Georgia. So, Scott Linehan came out and said this: it's hard to find a team that has as much talent in their tight end room. And he said you can call them tight ends, but reality is they're a matchup issue as wideouts as much as they are at tight ends.
That's true. I mean, Georgia, the SEC has tight ends that could be a linebacker or a damn tight end or a receiver. But those ones that truly get it coming out of the tight end position that can help Georgia win games and do their role, I feel that. I like what he said. That's poignant. But it's just in this matchup today, I think Georgia is believing the hype. That's the thing. If Georgia doesn't listen to the hype, Georgia can win this game. But I just think for the past 10 to 12 days, what I've been seeing and hearing from Athens, Georgia, UGA, they're overhyped. They're overhyped. Georgia has a tough damn schedule this year. Their outside opponents, plus the SEC schedule, it's going to be a hard feat, man. Hard feat.
And I put this one in for you on my notes for you. While Oregon has a bunch of new players, including 21 transfers, there are one area where the Ducks have plenty of experience. All 5 starters return on the offensive line, providing so much needed stability aimed at all the changes. Smart said it will be a key that we play well, play physical. You have to control the line of scrimmage and strike people to be a football team. That's all by Kirby Smart saying. So now the honoring Webb, Oregon will honor Spencer Webb with a helmet sticker on his number 4 inside of a spider web. Webb died in July after falling and striking his head during an outing at a popular swimming spot in Eugene, Oregon. So now Oregon's playing for inspiredness. They're playing for Webb. Now would that give them an extra advantage of motivation to play harder?
Yeah. And what you just told me, you said they got 24 transfers to Oregon?
21.
There's 21 people that have never been to Oregon. So I'm going to change my pick. I got Georgia. There's no damn, hell no. That right there is the most interesting fact you brought to the table in that matchup. They have 21 new people that moved to Oregon.
And you got to think, Oregon lost their starting running back too.
No.
And Vernon.
I'm sorry, Cassie Joe. I got Oregon. I'm sorry, I got Georgia. I'm rolling with Cassie Joe and UGA. Go Athens, Georgia.
All right, let's talk about the next game coming up. UTEP at Oklahoma. This is the first game ever as the head coach. Brent Venables going back to Oklahoma. How does Oklahoma come and with Lincoln Riley gone?
Oh, man. This is like the kid that lived in a house and everybody wanted you to kick him out the house. And now the real kid lives there. This is what I think Oklahoma has right now. Now they got the parent, they got the kid that they wanted to be in the house. This is it. I think they're going to put up probably 65 or 72 points in this one. There's going to be a 6 or a 7 in front of the school. University of Texas El Paso, known as UTEP, they have not a shot in this damn game at all. There's too much emotion in this game. Too much. It's like that tennis match that young lady against Serena the other night. There's too much on the table.
OU is
on full cylinders.
According to this matchup barometer, the predictor, Oklahoma's 98.6% chance to win to 1.4 for UTEP. But UTEP has a game underneath their belt already. Garen Harrison, the quarterback, went 21 out of 48 with 293 yards passing, 1 touchdown. 10 carries for 36 yards as a running back. Not too much of a running game there. Wide receiver had 7 receptions for 127 yards and 1 touchdown, and Troy Smith. And UTEP still went 0-1. Lost the game. Let's talk a little bit. Let's talk about a little bit here. I got a little bit of notes here. We're gonna have to move a little bit faster because we got a lot of games we got to pick here, and we're down to our last hour, under our last hour here. So, let's Let's see here. We got the over. They line. Oklahoma's a 31.0 favorite. Over and under is 57. So you going with the over?
Of course. Yeah. Oklahoma, do it. Deep in the heart of Oklahoma.
Finally. Brent Biddle gets his shot.
Yeah.
The man who helped build dominant defense in 26 years as assistant coach at Kansas State, Oklahoma, Clemson, will make his head coaching debut Saturday when the ninth-ranked Oklahoma hosts UTEP. Brent Biddle said this: "The excitement, the anticipation is real. Our guys have worked incredibly hard for the last 8 months. Our coaches and players prepping for this. This is what you worked for. That is that time to play somebody else to go compete and kind of see where we are at." Venable is 51, plans to keep his typical energy on the sideline. So that means, did Oklahoma hire a line coach to keep him off the field? Did he hire somebody specially to hold him back? Because Clemson did.
I think so. I hope so.
If he's going to keep that same high intensity that he kept at Clemson, Kansas State, they had to have a special guy hired. So now
you got to keep the intensity level, coach. Don't change. Don't change because of us. Be you, coach. Be you. 26 years you've been waiting on this moment. Now is the time.
Now, he said that he's been waiting all of this time and get it. And when coaches do get a head coaching job, some coaches do change. I like the way he came out and said he's not going to change for nobody. I like that. That's, to me, I think that's very thing, because you got to be who you are. You can't turn yourself into somebody else.
We are who you thought you are.
Yeah. He said the fan base has shared Venable's energy since Coach Lincoln Riley left the Sooners for Southern California. The Sooners believe they can thrive with the quarterback Dillon Gabriel, who transferred out of Central Florida, who already has passed for 70 touchdowns and more than 8,000 yards in his career. Gabriel is a better passer, and he stays in the pocket more. So now, does Gabriel come out and shine in this ball game right now? He goes from a small school at the University of Central Florida to a big powerhouse school in a Power 5 conference. Is he that capability of being that player?
So the women have really overwhelmed him right now. I mean, I bet the women in Oklahoma are totally different from where he just came from. Totally different ball game. If he can control his emotions and accept what's coming into him, cool game. But it's all about the game plan, man. This is all about Brent Venable today. It's about him to control the emotions of the team. It's about him. Because he's listening to everybody, doubting him, the expectations of being at that school, what he brings to the table. Are these his players, somebody else's players, when he gets his own players? We know the same scenario happens every year. Whether it's a coach we know or a coach we don't know, we all worried about that same thing. Well, these his players, or when he's going to bring his own players in, and how he's going to do with this team. I think Brent is going to do fine with this whole situation here. Don't overanalyze it. This is not an easy win. This is a winnable game for them with the philosophy, and as we know, Oklahoma. This is a winnable game.
Now, we talk about the quarterback and Gabriel. He's going to be throwing to Oklahoma's wide receiver, Marvin Mims. They're definitely like a chip on our shoulders just to come out and play ball, said Oklahoma wide receiver Marvin Mims. One of the top holdovers, I mean, not even really about who we lost, but it's just go out and play ball with a new culture, new team, a new identity. We just want to go out there and show that. Seems like all his players wants to play for Venables, so that's a good sign right there. He's got the total agreement of the locker room. Venables won't take UTEP lightly. He played for Kansas State when UTEP coach Daniel Dimmel was an assistant there, and they later were assistant coaches together at Kansas State. And though the Miners lost their opener 31-13 to North Texas, Venables said the game was a few plays from going in much different direction. Brent Biddle even came out as far as that and said UTEP is a bold team.
That's 6 wins. That doesn't impress me. We all know a bowl team is 6 wins. That's it. Whether you accept a turn down, whatever it may be. That's only
sometimes.
What's that? $550,000 for the school? That ain't shit.
Yeah.
That's like $2 on the street. That's $2. So that's some undershade that he gave them. That's a bold team. That's not saying very highly. But Oklahoma, if they fail to score 50 points, I have questions. If they don't put up at least 65 points, something's wrong.
You ready for this, too? This is an interesting tidbit. It will be the first time since the start of 1999 season that Gail Gundy won't be assistant coach for the Sooners. Gundy, who was assistant head coach and wide receiver coach, announced his resignation on August 7th. The school said the next day that he uttered a racially charged word multiple times while reading off a player's device during a film session the previous week. Gundy is a former Oklahoma quarterback, was involved in more victories as a player and coaches than any player in the school history with 235 wins, and as assistant coach 31 as a player. LeMaine Watson is the interim wide receiver coach.
So, wait a minute. I already know what he said to the player. That's crazy. That's wild. And is he in any relation to Mike Gundy?
I think so.
Wow.
I'm not sure.
So that's not shocking, hearing what he said. But the fact that he's on all those antidotes when it comes to the school, that's some facts right there, Ray. You bringing some shit to the table on that one. I like that.
And then if you look at Gabriel's targets, Mim caught 32 passes for 705 yards and 5 scores last season. Theo Weiss is back after missing most of the last season with a foot injury. He caught 37 passes for 530 yards and 4 touchdowns in 2020. Drake Stoops, a steady option, has caught 41 passes for 521 yards in his career. Sophomore Jalen Farouk earned a starting spot after catching just 4 passes last season. Tight end Brandon Willis is back after starting 8 of the final 9 games last season.
There's a lot of hidden intangibles here, man, in this whole thing, in this game scenario. Not like a big matchup, but I like the innuendos that you bring in with both of these schools that could possibly be a matchup problem here with both schools if they both get too involved in this whole scenario of this matchup. But if Oklahoma loses this game or doesn't put up 50 points, I have a whole lot of questions, man. Whole lot of questions.
Yeah, if you look at the dynamic duo, UTEP receivers Rondo Flores and Traden Smith has a solid performance in the opening loss to Northern Texas, but Flores caught 8 passes for 122 yards and Smith caught for 7 for 127 yards and a touchdown. Would those two be a problem today against Oklahoma's defense?
No, I think UTEP is going to do what UTEP does. I mean, they always extend the field on the corners. They always do that. That's been a UTEP thing. They used to run the ball back in the late 80s and mid-90s, but now they're trying to stretch the field. The defense, special teams, try to do something, make a name for themselves. But look, they're playing Oklahoma. So no trick is going to fool them. It's going to be a sad thing in the first quarter. I'm telling you, emotions are going to be high across every game in college football in the first quarter today. But if Venable keeps his intensity high, they could possibly shut UTEP out today.
So we're both in agreement that we're on par. You know, you changed your Oregon pick. We were off par then, but then you changed it back to Georgia, so we're on par.
I got other.
All righty. Bethune-Cookman goes into Miami, number 16, at the Hard Rock Stadium where the Dolphins play. The ESPN matchup predictor has Mario Cristobal and the Miami Hurricanes at 99.8% to Bethune-Cookman 0.2%. Does Miami just dominate Bethune-Cookman on this game?
Miami's going to try to go out here and embarrass Bethune-Cookman and try to prove everybody that the U is back. That's the problem. Nobody wants to see that OU again because you would not be playing in college football if that team was back. The standard and the way the game is played has totally changed from the days of the Catholics versus the Thugs. That has changed. You can't go back to the OU. Show me the new you. What is this new you supposed to look like? That's what I've been waiting on for 4 years on the phone with Miami. Show me this new team everybody keeps talking about. Ed Reed talked about it. Even The Rock talked about it. But I have not seen this new you team yet. Show it to me. What are you at? I like the turnover change. I like the kickers you got. But show me this new football team other than 80s and 90s style Miami. And then I'll be ready for the U. Until then, Bethune-Cookman going to hang into this game probably to late in the second quarter. But I got Miami winning this game. But I want to see this new philosophy of U football. Show it to me. You can't tackle like that no more. You can't talk to people like that no more. You can't intimidate players like that no more. So what is the new U football program going to look like down in Miami? Coral Gables. What is it?
Yes. Well, to me, you got Mario Cristobal. You see what he did in Oregon all the way up until you get to November time frame, and then he'd fall off the face, dropped off. Mm-hmm. He lost 2 straight to Utah. Mm-hmm. So this could be the same thing down in Miami.
It's the expectations, man. Everybody wants that. Not everybody can cook grandma's chicken and cornbread the way grandma made it. Let it go. Do your best. And that's what Miami needs to do. Stop looking at the old video footage. It can inspire you, but don't use that as your way to attack the game. You get kicked out, unsportsmanlike conduct, roughing the passer. All kind of bad shit can happen if Miami tries to use the old skill technique of what they did in the 80s and 90s. Those days are long gone in college football. You have to know the game and play the game and evaluate talent and make a game plan and go out there and put it together and see if we can get a W out of this. This is a winnable game for Miami, a very winnable game. But expectations will be high on this whole Miami program because the fans of the U want the OU back, and that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. So the next matchup will be the number 23 Cincinnati against number 19 Arkansas. Who are you liking this game?
I like Arkansas, man. Arkansas they're one of the few SEC teams that play well after October. They have a little struggle in the beginning, but after October, they can mess up a lot of plans. So don't make any Thanksgiving or Christmas plans yet, guys, because Arkansas will cancel.
I agree with you there. I think Cincinnati lost his starting quarterback. I think that's going to be the downfall for him because he was the one that kept them in most of all the games last year and win that big game against, I guess, Notre Dame last year. So I think Arkansas does win this game. Number 24 Houston plays University of Texas State, Texas San Antonio. Who you got in this one?
You say Utah State and who?
No, it's Houston against University of Texas and San Antonio. UTSA. There was a surprise team last year. They went undefeated all the way up to that one last conference game, I think.
They're playing Utah State, you said?
Playing Houston, number 24.
Ooh, this could be one of those crazy.
The Cougars.
Oh, they don't have old Klinger no more. Those days over with. Huh.
Yeah.
Give me University of Texas, San Antonio in this one. This is a close game, though. One of those close games.
I'm going to go off on this one. I think Houston's going to win a close one on that one. Arizona versus San Diego State. Out in San Diego. Who you got?
One more time on the matchup.
Arizona versus San Diego State. Out in San Diego.
Is that my man Herm Edwards? No, he had Arizona
no,
State.
He's there. No, they played already.
That's the Wildcats.
They played on Thursday.
Give me Arizona. I like that. Give me Arizona.
I'm going to go with San Diego State on this one. They're playing at home. North Dakota versus Nebraska in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Oh, Scott Frost. Why did he do the onside kick last week? Just the reporter that asked the question, thank you. Thank you for going right to what in the actual fuck of life made him do that onside kick. I mean, I love me some Scott Frost. Love me from the Jets, Jets to the Rams. Let it go, Rams fan. Let it go. We don't have a football team anymore. Let it go. But since he's been in college, he should have kept his ass at UCF. He should have never left. You should have kept your ass right there. You had a powerhouse that believed in you, that was building much bigger things around you, but you left to go back to
Nebraska.
I swear to God. You know what? I'm not picking them no more. No. Nebraska's
taking North Dakota?
Yes. That was a winnable game last week, Ray. And this Scott Frost should have been fired that day, 10 minutes after the interview, after the press conference. Scott, let me talk to you. We have come to agreement. We don't want you to remember. I mean, what's my man name that played baseball with Peyton Manning? No. What's the other guy that came out of Nebraska that played baseball?
Frazier? Frazier.
That Darren Erskine? No. Nope.
I can't think. And you got me stumbling now.
Whoever the guy I'm trying to think of, if somebody out there know what I'm thinking of, type it in. Remind me, because my mind all over the place this morning. But if they lose today, fired Tuesday. Now, damn that. Monday a holiday, you getting fired on a holiday. We coming in on a holiday off, Scott, by fire. Yeah. It's embarrassing what that program has been through. Embarrassing. I don't know why Tom Osborne assistant didn't take over. Whoever that dude was, what happened?
I guess they wanted to go away from the option, I guess.
I don't get it. Where's Tommy Frazier when I need him?
I don't know.
Radio there. I know he's done doing radio. Why not coach him, buddy? Why not coach him?
He might not be a suitable coach. He might not like being a coach.
Yeah, that's true. I love when we try to give people jobs that don't want them.
Yeah.
Like when people tell you, hey, the auto plant hire, good. That's good.
A lot of people want Michael Jordan, instead of being a GM, be a head coach.
No, he had choked the shit out of some player. No. It's like, no. It's like Dick Vitale calling a fucking live NBA game. He have a heart attack. No. Some things we like to say in our head, but we really don't want to see it.
Yeah. All right, let's go on, move on here. Norfolk State versus Marshall.
We are Marshall. We are Marshall.
Yeah, I got that one too. So, how about Tulane and Wyoming?
Who Wyoming playing?
Tulane, the Green Wave.
Ooh, the Green Wave. Oh, I used to love that basketball team in the 90s. Oh, even them Cowboys. In the words of Finis Dembo, they're Chivas.
Yeah, they're playing in Wyoming at Laramie anyway, so I think that Wyoming wins the home game. All righty. How about number 25, BYU versus South Florida? Down in Tampa.
You got Mormons going to Florida?
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, on a holiday weekend. Oh boy, who is the
we
stay in your room, Tyrone? Oh man.
Yeah, we locked down the Florida girls, so we told them not to mess with them because they already got more than one wives anyway.
It's legal where we're at. It's legal.
Ain't legal here though.
I never say mom. I say moms. Can I go outside? Give me Brigham Young, Steve Young University.
Yeah, I'll get that too. UC Davis versus California and at Berkeley.
You say who Cal playing?
UC Davis, University of California, Davis.
No, man. No. Stop that. They're not going to win that game.
How about Troy versus number 21, Ole Miss?
Give me Ole Miss. He brought in his whole coaching staff, didn't he? He brought everybody with him, didn't he?
Yeah. How about Nichols versus South Alabama? You taking South Alabama?
If they score, he's going to be pissed at halftime. He is going to be pissed at halftime. It was a few years ago. They had a school that there was no score at the end of the first quarter. There was no score. The second quarter, I think Bama put up like 60 points. I can
This is South Alabama, though.
I know, but it reminds me of that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Texas State versus Nevada.
Ooh,
The Nevada Wolfpacks.
Give me Texas Tech. They're Red Raiders.
No, Texas State.
Texas State.
Yeah.
Give me Texas.
This is the one with all the great basketball team back in the early days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me Texas State.
I'll take Nevada on this one. All righty. Rice versus number 14, USC. Does Lincoln Riley get his first win at USC?
USC.
Yep. University of Southern California, not University of South Carolina.
Right.
Does Lincoln Riley get his first win?
Repeat that one more time. People texting about the show right now. My bad. Go ahead.
Rice versus number 14, USC. Does Lincoln Riley get his first win?
Oh, yeah, for sure. But Lincoln Riley is going to come off with – he's going to pull some shade some kind of way. This dude was meant for this job. USC needed Lincoln Riley. They needed him. I don't see who else could have fit that mold. Maybe a Jimbo Fisher 10 years ago, but I think Lincoln Riley and USC fit. His personality, his lifestyle, and his coaching, it fits the left coast, as most people call the West.
Our next game will be to pick is Morgan State versus Georgia Southern.
I like Georgia Southern. I like that. All because of that little baseball team a few years ago.
Yeah, Georgia Southern took over the Turner Field in Atlanta. That's where they play their home games at now. So, all right, Florida Atlantic versus Ohio.
Ohio.
I'll take Florida Atlantic. Middle Tennessee versus James Madison.
Middle Tennessee done put out a few NFL players. I like
Middle Tennessee.
Give me that. Give me Middle Tennessee.
I'm going to take James Madison. James Madison's on the rise.
Uh-oh.
All righty, man. We're down to your team. Number 7, Utah. We're going to be talking about the Florida Gators and their new head coach.
We're not right.
So now, Mr. Dre Montez, this is your team. You have the floor. Let's talk about let's look at some numbers here real quick before I turn it over to you. Yeah, I know you got the Gator Chomp and stuff. You ready for this? ESPN matchup predictor. Utah has 47.9% chance of winning. Florida has 52.1% chance of winning. The game is played in Gainesville. The team is played in Gainesville, Florida. The temperature at game time will be 80 degrees. 7 p.m.
Sundress weather.
88,548 is capacity. Will we see all 88,548 fans there?
We're telling you right now.
My question is, if he loses this game, the first game, do we see the fans sell out the next game?
He's getting fired Monday. He's getting fired Monday. If we lose this game, there's just see these new coaches, especially ones that come in the SEC. Don't try to prove to us, the fan base, the school, the boosters, none of that shit. Don't try to prove to us you belong here. Just come in here, keep it real simple, coach football. Just coach. That's what Dr. Jerry Buss told Pat Riley. Stop all that shit and just coach basketball. So I'm telling my coach at Florida, just coach the football team. Don't worry about us, the outside noise, the cheerleaders. I know they're hard to not look at, but I get it. But just coach my football team. Coach them. And we will be proud this year, Gators.
Utah is favored by 2.5, according to Vegas. 2.5. Series, Florida leads 1-0. They only played one time. They lead 1-0. Defending Pac-12 champs, Utah opens with the highest ranking preseason ranking in school history. The Utes traveled to Gainesville for the first time since 1977 and will try hand Florida its first season opening loss since 1989. The Gators own a NCAA longest active winning streak in home openers at 32. Is this the time that 32 record falls?
Ray, I like the way you said that, but no. I will get on a plane tonight and go to Florida to be at the press conference when he gets fired if we lose this game. I will be in Florida. There's no way. I would throw all these damn TVs out the window if we lose this game today, guys.
You ready for?
I need some happiness in my life as a Florida football Gator fan. We've been pathetic at quarterback, just pathetic. I haven't seen nothing since what's my kid that transferred to West Virginia? He's now
Greer. Greer.
Will Greer. Oh my God. Will Greer is that was my man crush at quarterback. That was my dude. My dude. We haven't had shit. Nothing. I need a leadership quarterback to come to Florida. This is week 1. This game with Utah is a big game for us. Big game. And we're on the big screen. Everybody's going to be watching. This is going to be one. I may stand up the entire game. You ever done that before? Stood up the whole entire game and watch again?
Mm-hmm. I do it all the time.
TV. Your old lady looking at you. Why don't you sit down? Why don't you go in the other room?
Yeah. But the interesting note to this 32-game winning streak they all have, none of the previous victories came against ranked teams.
The fact you said 32 just reminded me. My homecoming is next month. It's been 32 years since I graduated high school. Thanks, Ray. Thanks.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. Right with you. Let's see here. Happy College Day football Saturday, gents. What do you think about the Bethune-Cookman as a 49-point underdog, thinking to have them cover the spread versus Miami? This is pretty big margin.
They're not going to cover that spread.
Nah, I don't see them covering the spread. I don't think they do that. He says, I think it helps that Utah playing that night. The Swamp will be rowdy, but not dealing with the heat will help. This was the noon kickoff. The Swamp maybe be different. Yeah, true.
That's
different
true.
story.
That's a good point. That's a good point, my man. Definitely. That time, kickoff time in the Swamp is different. Like my very first largest outdoor cocktail party, they switched it to a night game. At the last minute, like in the middle of the week, it was scheduled for like 3 o'clock, but they switched to a night game. And my first time going, the locals told me there's a reason they did that.
Hey, I'll tell you like it is now. Hey, when I go to Jaguar game's always at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I sit on the east side of the stadium. If you sit on the west side of the stadium, you're getting under the sun. If you sit on the east side of the stadium, you get all the sun all game long. You get it from coming behind you, and you get it by the time the kickoff starts, it's over top of you, and by the time the game is over, it's on the other side.
So you're gonna be tanned up this year.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah, in the heat. But the only good thing about my seat is at halftime I can go sit in the AC until after halftime is over.
Look at that. Season ticket holder Ray.
Yeah.
Man.
All right, let's keep a looking here. The Florida coach who led Louisiana Lafayette to 4 consecutive Sun Belt championship game before replacing fired Dan Mullins in November. Florida runs defense versus Utah's Tevon Thomas and Mitch Bernard and Cam Rising. Thomas is 1,108 yards and 21 TDs. Bernard is 529 yards and 2 TDs. Quarterback Rising, 499 yards and 6 TDs, were the heart of the soul of the nation's 13th ranked ground game in 2021. Utah was 10-1 when out rushing its opponent and is as an experienced offensive line with a combined of 71 career starts. The Gators, meanwhile, ranked 85th nationally against the run last year. We're on gouged by LSU with 321 yards, South Carolina with 284 yards, Georgia with 193 yards, and UCF with 288 yards from 2021. So your 85th national ranking against a run. What do you see him? How do they stop this Utah team? They got a running back. They got a running quarterback. They got a 2-headed monster running. So you got a 3-headed monster back there, and Rising can pass the ball. So you came because he can pass that football. That gives him a added feature to his skills. So how does Florida combine that to that physical running game of Utah?
Here's what I'm gonna say. That was last year, gentlemen. New story. Let's make our own story. Let's create our moment in our time. That's what I'm saying to my team. Last year was last year. I wasn't here. It's like when you're in a new relationship. I'm not him. I'm not her. I am me. Let's go. That's what my defense should do today. Last year was an awful the last damn 5 years have been horrific for me. I've been going through things people don't know about. Nobody ever says to me on Sunday, Dre, how are you? Are you doing okay? No, I'm not. Look who I were on Saturday. I need this victory today. I need it. Big time.
If you look at go ahead. Now, if you look at this, Utah, Brian Cooney and Dalton Kincaid gives the Utes one of the best tight ends combination in college football. As juniors in 2021, they combined for 86 receptions, 1,121 yards, and 14 scores. But on the other hand, if you look at Florida, Anthony Richardson, who could be the most dynamic player on the field, the Gainesville native starts just one game as a freshman last season against the top-ranked Georgia in a dominated defense and looked overmatched. He ended up missing 5 games with the various injuries making up his health a top priority in 2022.
So Utah has nothing to lose in this game, to me. They can win the game, they can lose the game. I don't think it'll be a shock nowhere. If they win, they're not going to say, oh, my God, Utah won in Florida and won in the swamp. No. Look at the ranking. Look at what's going on with the school. All of that. Utah has nothing to lose in this scenario to me. That's why Florida must come out and play perfect football. What they're saying here?
He said also want to add 2 questions. UFC comes into the year with Baylor transfer Gary Bohannon at 85% of the teams returning. With that said, does UFC University of South Florida have an under the radar shot against BYU today? If they win, does that change the narrative going into the Florida game, coming off a BYU win if it happens?
Wow, that's a hell of a scenario right there. Those transfer portals I like because as fans, we're saying, oh, this kid don't like the competition. He's being a chicken shit. He's moving on, don't like the competition. But they're going somewhere that fits their attributes and playing style without that much of a significant change to help the kid. I would love to go somewhere and work that fits my work habits, my sleep habits, all that. But not everybody gets that opportunity. But now these college kids, by talking to people in social media, I can go in this program and slide right on in because I've been doing this for the past 5-6 years. But here, I don't know what the hell this arithmetic is over here. I know a lot of people don't like the transfer portal, but in the instance that it works for the kids to help them be a better athlete, I like the transfer portal. So that is a good point right there. He's going into a program that's 85% guaranteed with his addition. I like that. That could be a big factor going into that game with BYU next week. I like that. Good point in question.
Yeah. So, taking the concept of this game here, who do you still have your Gators winning against Utah? Putting you on the spot.
Man, it's going to be a hard game for us to win. Hard game. But I got us winning this game. It's going to be a close game, but I got us winning this game. It's not going to be a blowout.
I got Utah winning.
And this is one of the games I gambled on today, and I never gamble on my Florida team. I never have gambled on Florida. My bookie who is watching. Oh, my God.
All right. Let's move.
I got to win this game, man.
Let's move on. Albany versus number 10 Baylor. Who you got?
Baylor. Did you hear what Desmond Howard said about Baylor?
No.
He has Baylor playing Pitt in the national championship.
All right, moving right along. That's probably he took too many hits against Ohio State. Yeah. Miami, Ohio. Miami, Ohio versus number 20 Kentucky.
Will Big Ben be there at the game?
I don't know. He might be too busy messing with women over there.
Oh, that's what I want to hear. Oh, man. Miami, Ohio versus who?
Kentucky.
Oh, give me Kellogg. Give me Kellogg Phil all day.
Illinois State versus number 18 Wisconsin.
Give me the Badgers. Wisconsin.
I already got down.
Wisconsin Badgers.
How about Mercer versus Auburn?
Mercer sounds like a bad disease. Give me Auburn. Them Auburn Tigers.
Yeah, he'll get off that.
Tigers.
All righty. Moving right along. Elon versus Vanderbilt.
Vandy is dandy. The Commodores all day.
Yeah. South Dakota versus Kansas State.
K-State. Oh, Coffeyville, Kansas right there. K-State.
This is going to be a tricky one. Army versus Coastal Carolina. In Conway, South Carolina, near Myrtle Beach.
Oh, I know what Conway is at. Right off of 501 if you're driving.
Oh, yeah.
Give me Coastal Carolina. It's holiday weekend. Things get out of hand with the military folk.
Yeah, I get Coastal
the street. Them women down in South Cack a lot are not the norm.
And then he said Coastal Carolina's beat Army.
Yep. There you go, my man. Good call.
Liberty versus Southern Mississippi.
Ooh, Liberty. Oh, man.
Scott Freeze, Hugh Freeze, and Southern Mississippi is former Brett Favre territory.
Mm-hmm. We'll kill Mississippi ground down the street. Give me Southern Mississippi.
I'm going to take Liberty on this one. UMass versus Toledo.
I like Toledo's uniforms. So I'm going with Toledo.
I'm going with them too. Southeast Louisiana versus Louisiana.
What the fuck? Give me Louisiana.
He said UMass National Championship, baby.
Put down the weed.
Yeah. I got Louisiana too. All right. How about Grambling versus Arkansas State?
Ooh, HBCU. The HBCU Nation and platform is the biggest ever this year. if you have never seen an HBCU game before, there's so much. The pregame, the halftime, so everybody know about it. I love that. But now the talent pool has changed due to NIL and the transfer portal. And now these HBCUs are now going to be on television. I'm thinking it's going to change the level of play and the intensity. Intensity that we've seen in HBCUs over the past. There's probably like only 2 schools that we've really paid attention to in HBCU probably the past 20 years. But I think now a lot more people are going to start paying attention to some of these talented kids that are coming out and these coaches that they have in the right position to really push the HBCU programs on a whole different level. I'm not saying national championship matchup. Slow down. But I'm going to enjoy the HBCUs being on different platforms for everybody to see. I got Grambling winning this.
Yeah, I like Grambling better than I do Arkansas State, so I got Grambling too.
Got to go with the
Utah State versus number 1 Alabama.
Nick Saban is one of those coaches. Alabama could win a game 63-7. He's mad about the 7. He's mad about the holding call. He's mad about the 10 false starts. He does not like anything to interrupt his plan. His plan this year is to shut up Jimbo Fisher and Deion. That's his whole plan. He wants Alabama to go undefeated this year. He would try to blow out Utah State today. They might put up 84 points today. They may. It may be that bad. If Utah State scores before Bama, which I have a side bet on that Utah State is going to score the first points of the game, he will be pissed. Pissed. And I love when Nick Saban gets mad on TV and they catch when that vein pops out right here. It just right here beside his neck and his head get to shaking. Oh, he's pissed then. He's pissed.
UMass has done nothing ever, but I actually won a national championship, though, with the NCAA game with them.
What?
Anybody can win that matchup on the NCAA game. I took North Carolina to the national championship.
He said he played basketball with Teddy Dupay and UMass? Did he just say that?
He said, UMass has done nothing ever, but I actually won a national championship, though, in the NCAA game with them. You're talking about a video game he won with the UMass. And then he said New Mexico State plays Alabama in a few weeks. That's going to be a tough game.
For who? To get tickets to park?
Probably.
I can't explain Alabama to people. If you don't know, you need to know. That Nick Saban is not the typical college coach. He is the most arrogant, successful guy that I never liked until about 5 years ago, until I understood Nick Saban. It's one of those things we didn't like 10 years ago, but now we understand why we didn't like it or why we appreciate it now. It's called getting older. It's called the maturation process. The maturation process of me, Dre Montez, I get Nick Saban. I get when he's mad. I understood that whole beef with him and Jimbo Fisher and Deion. I understand all that. It just came out the wrong way. And him and Jimbo Fisher are going to have the most shade thrown at them this college football season ever in life. I'm watching it all. I'm Reddit. I'm tweeting everything. Them two are going to get into it.
So we all agree Alabama's going to win that game.
Oh, hell yeah.
Notre Dame and Ohio State, we're going to come back and talk about that. Let's pick the rest of these games, then we'll come back, and that's going to be our spotlight game of the week. So we'll talk about that in a few minutes. So let's go ahead and finish up the remaining of these games. Memphis versus Mississippi State.
I like Memphis.
I think Mississippi State is going to win because it's down in Mississippi State and Starksville. Georgia State versus South Carolina.
Give me South Carolina. Give me them Gamecocks.
Yeah, I think South Carolina.
Yes, we love our Cocks.
They're playing in that terrible stadium.
It's the one you don't like.
Yeah. How about SMU in North Texas?
Give me the Mustangs with SMU.
I think North Texas is going to win it. I think they win their second game in a row. How about Colgate and Stanford?
Stanford or Stanford as in California?
Stanford out in California that John Elway played for.
Give me Stanford.
Mary State and Texas Tech, the Red Raiders.
Raiders. Give me them.
I'll take them too.
Unless John Moran did the game.
University of Louisiana Monroe versus Texas.
Texas.
I got Texas too. Louisville versus Syracuse in the Carrier Dome.
As most people call it, Louisville. I call it Louisville. Give me Louisville.
I'll take Louisville too on that one. Maine versus New Mexico.
Who?
Maine versus New Mexico.
Give me New Mexico.
All right, we both got them. How about Idaho versus Washington State?
I am not a hoe, but I'll take Washington State.
I got Washington State. Boise State versus Oregon State.
Give me Oregon. Give me Oregon.
Boise State. Oregon State. I'm going to take Boise State for the upset, just for the hell of it. Kent State versus Washington, the Huskies.
Ooh, give me Washington. That program hasn't been shit since 90. How you go that long? How you adapt to it 1 year and nobody wanted to follow along?
There you go. Western Kentucky versus Hawaii. Hawaii is coming off that blowout loss to Vanderbilt.
It's okay. It's okay. We lost. 808 is still in the building. The Flying Hawaiians, baby. 808 in the building. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm going to take Western Kentucky. All right, Sunday night's game is Florida State versus LSU.
LSU. In honor of my big homie down in Shreveport, DJ Fat.
I think Brian Kelly will win that game. Clemson at Georgia Tech.
There's a whole lot of pressure on teams in Atlanta to do what the Braves did, but I got Clemson winning this one.
Got Clemson?
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking Clemson too. All right, so we picked all the game stuff for now. Our little spotlight game here, we have 14 minutes to talk about it. So before kickoff time, and we're going to go with the Notre Dame, number 5 Notre Dame versus number 2 Ohio State. This is played in Columbus, Ohio State Stadium. The Ohio State is favored by 16.5. The over and under is 59. The weather is 77 degrees in Columbus right now. And this is a 7:30 p.m. game on ABC. So let's set this game up for you, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to start off with the famous predictor. ESPN Matchup Predictor gives a 16.5% chance for Notre Dame to go into Columbus and beat Ohio State and 83.5% chance of Ohio State winning. Notre Dame is an underdog at 16.5. The money line is plus 55, plus 550, plus minus 800 for Ohio State, and the over and under is 59. So, my good friend here, does Notre Dame go into Ohio State like Oregon did last year and beat Ohio State? How does Notre Dame get this done?
This is a great matchup. It's early for both. I got a lot of friends that like both schools, the Ohio State and Notre Dame. I saw Notre Dame's Glee Club perform here at the old cathedral here in St. Louis a few months ago. That was awesome. But I think Ohio State can overcoach a game. They could go too deep because they're trying to prevent what happened last year. I think they got a lot of returning people on the offensive side. The pressure for the quarterback to be perfect to win the Heisman Trophy, that's a lot of pressure for week 1, not week 0, but week 1. Notre Dame coach, what happened to them in that bowl game last year was just a laughing stock of America. Everybody's crazy about how young he is, his beautiful family, his connection with his players. But I don't like coaches that are friends with their players. No, I don't like that shit. No. You're supposed to be afraid of your coach and intimidated. And he's supposed to give you the techniques to win. That's it. I don't like that close shit at Notre Dame. But Ohio State could possibly come in this game overthinking the process due to what happened last year. Close game until late in the third quarter. I got the Ohio State winning this game, but it's not going to be a Heisman-type performance out of Ohio State's quarterback. I'm sorry, the Ohio State's quarterback this year. I'm thinking the defense and special teams going to be the major factor for the Ohio State winning this game. And I think the belief system on Notre Dame's side is going to fail them again. That's why now we're not going to do it one last time, Notre Dame, to come to the SEC.
Well, hey, you got to look at this. This is an interesting barometer that we got here. Notre Dame's head coach, Marcus Freeman, is the Ohio State linebacker. Insists this week he was pretty emotionless about his return to the Horseshoe for the first time as a head coach. No time for that. He is consumed with getting the Irish ready.
In downtown Columbus. So Notre Dame must stay outside of Columbus because there's nothing but distractions in Columbus. There's nothing but the women there are different. And we already know what's up in Indiana. Not much.
And on top of that, Freeman must take a number 5 Notre Dame, number 5th ranked Notre Dame, and a new starting quarterback into Ohio State amid of crushed hype over 100,000 impossible fans to play the number 2 Buckeyes.
But Notre Dame travels well now. The Golden Domers travel well. They will support that team. So I know it's 100,000 fans there in the shoe for the Ohio State. But in order for Notre Dame to pull off the upset, they got to hit the quarterback in the mishap, like right away. Hit him in the mouth. Hit him. Now, we talked about the U playing the way they used to. Notre Dame is one of those teams that need to go back to the old philosophy of old Notre Dame. That defense still works today the way Notre Dame used to play. The days of Chris Zorich, back in those days, that defense would work today. That's the problem with Notre Dame. The offense has always been sliding in pretty cool. It's when the defense is on the field. That's where the communication factor is the key point right there with the Golden Domers. For them to be in this game, that defense must step up early and quick.
And I like this quote that Freeman said. Any competitors, you want an opportunity to go and play against the best. There's no better way to see where you're at as a football team.
That's a good statement. I like that. I like that quote. That's good. But I think the teams in this matchup today with the coaching scenario and the quarterback situation and the whole stage, everybody wants to see the Ohio State in the national championship. And is Notre Dame back? I mean, back from what? Back from what? I don't get Notre Dame fans. They say we're back. Back from what? When the last time you've been that fluke year they went at college football playoff? They didn't do anything. Nothing. They showed up late to the party as always. They didn't bring any gifts for the birthday boy or the girl. They just came to the party, eating all the food, drinking all the beer, but didn't want to play in any games. That's Notre Dame. That's them. If I'm Notre Dame defensive coach, I'm having a separate meeting. I'm letting the whole offensive special teams go out there by themselves. My defense, we're walking out together. I would make a statement today with the defense. If I'm the Notre Dame defensive coordinator, this is what we're going to do. I'm doing all our blitz first play.
Yeah, if we look at this too, if you look at eyes on quarterback Strutt in his second year at Ohio State starter. It's projected first round NFL draft pick who hopes to pick up where he left off, along with top wide receiver Jackson Smith-Njigba and running back Trevon Henderson, and both Associated Press preseason All-American. Smith-Njigba said that he's been there, done that. Said of quarterback, he's ready. Has confidence in him. That he's talking about the Strut. So, on that said, is it a lot of pressure on Strut to perform because he's on the Heisman hype again?
Yeah, he will be. The projections of this guy, the trajectory of him, his accolades, his attributes, all of that. This is his year to either make it or fail. He will be in the NFL as number 1 draft pick for the Houston Texans next year. We all know that. He's going to win the Heisman Trophy. We know that. This one game, this first game, will defy that. It will be his testament. It will be his statement game. It will be his initial footprint on this college football season, on how this game goes against Notre Dame. It's about the preparation. It's about the completion. It's about making the right moves. He knows everybody is looking at him and watching. He is the hottest kid on the block right now in college football, and everybody wants to see if he's going to put out a fail. That's what's going to happen. He is the number 1 draft pick going to Houston, Texas next year.
And then if you look at it this way, too, the new coordinators, there will be an element of unknown with both defense operating under the new coordinators. Jim Knowles was brought in from Oklahoma State to overhaul Ohio State's defense, which was promulgated in the team's 2 losses last season, the calling the card of salty 57-year-old veteran coaches and discussed surprise. Jim Knowles said this on the ESPN College Game Day with Kurt Hipstreet. His quote says, Jim Knowles, you have no idea pre-snap, post-snap what the defense will be. It is a defense that is built around keeping you guessing. Al Golden, who spent the last 2 seasons coaching linebackers for the Cincinnati Bengals, steps into the role held by Freeman last year. Golden, who had been head coaching jobs at Miami, Ohio, Temple, inherited a defense that returned 7 starters, including edge rusher Ozzie Folsky, and who came back for the 4th season. Golden also picked up an elite safety in Brandon Josh from the transfer portal from Northwestern. So the stage is set here, ladies and gentlemen. Which defense coordinator going to put up which defense coordinator's troop is going to be the better out of the 2?
That's the thing. What I said, I think if Notre Dame defensive coordinator, is he coming in here with his own philosophy, or is he doing what coach wants him to do? That's the thing with new defensive coordinators. I'm finally getting the opportunity to do what I want to do with this defense. I know I'm coming from another school, but I use that scheme due to the head coach. He wanted me to do this. Do I get free range to do what I want to with this defense? That's the big thing. If I get to do what I want to, that would be a big change. We finally get to see the type of defense he wants to put together. But I got the defensive edge. The defensive edge should go to Notre Dame because of the high-powered offense with The Ohio State University. We know they got a few linebackers that they put in the NFL, The Ohio State, and a couple of corners, but a solidified defense, I've never heard the consistency being talked about The Ohio State's defense. Ray, you collecting coins for beer? You okay, buddy?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm just getting all our things down right here. You know.
Okay, got you.
I got the whole schedule right here. I printed the whole schedule and put our names by who we say what, so we can keep the score tally going.
Hey man, print paper is not cheap in ink, so I appreciate you printing that out.
Yeah. So we both agree that Ohio State is going to win this game.
Yeah.
All right.
Not a blowout either. Not a blowout.
No. So, I mean, I think we did pretty good for 55 games that we predicted today. 55 games. You're hard to believe in it.
We did 55.
Yeah. We predicted 55 games today, total.
Hey, I went to the Cardinal game last night. My title sponsor's in town, Certapro Painters, for my show. And it's his 40th birthday. So happy birthday to my sponsor, Robert, and his wife, Heather, and her friend, Jan, that's in town. Had a great time. My buddy, Menden. Everybody, Cards win last night. My dude, Lars, Newt Barr, Neuter.
Hey, you should ask your sponsor. Does he want to come over and sponsor our show, too?
Hey, we talking. We talking. We talking, Ray. We talking. I got you.
Yeah, I mean, we predicted 55 games plus the Sunday night game, so we predicted really 57 games total. But 55 today. It's 55 games today.
Are you ready for today?
I'm ready. I
got my new college football show debuting tonight at midnight.
You ready for this? I got a television and I got 3 computer screens. They're all gonna have football on today.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 devices I'm watching football on.
Well, if you count my cell phone, I can put my cell phone on it too, and then I got an iPad and I got a laptop I can bring out too.
There it is. I'm getting it in today. I'm gonna be a tweeting son of a bitch today. Because
I got Hulu, so I can put it on as many screens I want.
There it is. We're about to have our greatest day. Good luck to your Carolina team today, my man. Good luck.
Good luck to the Gators.
Hey, I'm getting me a pet gator. I got to talk to my landlord. I'm gonna name him Chewy.
Chewy?
Yeah, I'm getting me a pet gator. I don't want a dog no more. No, never again. I can't do that. Someone get me a pet gator. I'm taking to the local bar Friendlies down the street and up the Tower Pub in my neighborhood. I'm gonna call him Chewy. I'm gonna walk my pet gator.
Call him Chewy. But this has been a great show, man. You know, we always have fun on this show. We predict games and we talk about it, and we lead you all the way up to kickoff time. Guess what? It's 12 o'clock. It's kickoff time. I am Ray and Dre. We're out of here. This is the College Breakdown on the All Sports Play Network. Have a good evening and see you later. Peace out.
Good luck to everybody today.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.